Howdy, howdy.
How
Welcome,
are
welcome.
you?
Look who is back, all sunshiny and bubbly.
Look at her.
Yeah. I know I got the heater on, so I'm a bit flushed, but feeling good today.
First of all, I want to say Dr. Phil would not approve. Dr. Phil said, get your bed rest and heal up. And he said he was not giving you a doctor's note to come to work. But she's a workaholic, and here she is. So while we won't waste any time, we're going to turn the floor over to you so you can tell everybody how you're doing, because this is absolutely what everybody wants to know about.
I'm doing amazing. Gosh, where to start? The surgery, yeah. Up until the day it started,
That's
Sorry,
Todd.
I'm clicking buttons. Can you put her up there so that she can be? There we go. That's what I was trying to do.
Please don't. I don't like that view.
All right.
Todd just wants to pick his nose.
I don't want to talk to myself. I want to talk to my buddies. Yeah. No, look, surgery went amazing. You know, I didn't really think about it too much prior. But you stop clicking the frickin' buttons.
This ain't me. My hands are right here.
I was trying to put it back the way it was. Sorry, go ahead. Everybody's gonna kill me for trying to do this. I was trying to spotlight Lindy. Sorry.
He's just trying to steal your thunder, Lindy. That's all he's trying to do. He doesn't like to.
Whoops! There you go.
He doesn't like.
Ed can't even see me now.
Sorry. Go ahead.
I'm going to take away your
control. I missed you guys.
We missed you too. You know that.
All right. Absolutely. So sorry. We will stop now. Take it from the top. I was just honestly trying to put you on the big screen, and then things went haywire. Michael started fighting me. But go ahead.
You're lucky I'm carnivore and I don't have any pain at all, so I can laugh and it doesn't hurt. So good job.
That's amazing that you can laugh and you're not in pain. That's
yeah. No, the surgery went really well. Obviously, I don't remember much of it because I was fast asleep. But I woke up in the recovery room. I was with it, very alert. The nurse was like stoked at how well I had recovered. And within like 15 minutes, they were wheeling me back to my room. And my husband was still there talking to the doctor on the phone, getting an update on my progress. So, it was just amazing how quick it was all went. I didn't really feel much pain. And I think it's because of the type of surgery I had. Normally with their abdominoplasty, they do all the muscles and things like that. Mine was not like that. Mine was purely to take away excess skin, to make my quality of life a little bit better, because 9 kilos of skin they removed, which is just like a flap of skin sitting on my lap, walking, it would just kick. It was just really miserable to live with. And about 3-4 hours after surgery, I had to get up and go to the toilet, and I actually had a lap. It was really good. Just feel so much lighter on my feet. It's made a huge difference. So I just want to thank everybody for helping me. Oh God, I'm so emotional. But yeah.
And they also found a hernia in there too, right?
Yeah, apparently while he was in there trying to do whatever he was doing, he found a massive hernia. So I've had a couple of surgeries. I've had my gallbladder out. I've also had my lap band surgery. And apparently when you have abdominal surgeries, they can cause weaknesses where a hernia can appear. So my colon had pretty much broken through a weak point, right under my belly button. So when he got to my belly button, there was a large hernia, which was my colon just protruding. And he sent me a photo, which I'm not going to post because it's absolutely disgusting. It's the inside of me. Great big mound of my colon with a little belly button sitting on top. And it took him about, he said, over half an hour to try and put it all back into place and fix it up. because of it. I have lost my belly button because there was nothing left to hold it in place. But he said that if I hadn't have had the surgery, I would have been in hospital within the next couple of days in emergency. And if I had survived my colon rupturing inside me, I would have ended up with a colostomy bag. Wow. So you guys pretty much saved my life, because if anything had have happened, I don't go to the doctors. I just grin and bear it, unless I'm on my deathbed pretty much, and I honestly would have been. So I probably wouldn't be here today. So I just can't believe the timing of all of this. And I had no idea I had a hernia. That's the thing, you can't tell when you've got all that skin and this massive hernia inside me. I had no idea it was there. So it kind of took me by surprise, yeah.
Well, one good thing, since you don't have a belly button no more belly button lint.
Exactly right. One less thing I have to worry about, yeah. Yeah. No, he did say that to me. With the type of surgery I had, he called it a wedge surgery. So it was basically just to remove the skin. And he said, are you concerned if you don't have a belly button? Because I don't know if I can save it. And I said, honestly, I don't care. I just want to be mobile, and it's the quality of life. A belly button, I'm not going to wear bikinis and midriff tops or anything. It's not what I do. And I'm doing this for my life, my quality of life, rather than looks. So I said, if the belly button's got to go, I don't care. And yeah, it's gone, and I don't miss it. What I've got now is just amazing. So yeah, definitely got my life back.
That's awesome.
Not for nothing, but you should get a belly button tattoo, but you should do something really funny with it. Like, well, I'm not going to say what I was going to say, but maybe a smiley face. I'm just saying, when I get a belly button tattoo, it's going to look like a cat's butthole. I think that's too funny not to do that. But for you, maybe a smiley face or something, I think that'd be hilarious, because it'd shock the heck out of people in future doctor's appointments.
Oh, I never thought of that. Yeah, my girls actually said, oh, Mum, you're going to get a tattoo now because you're pretty. I've got a red car and all these new things since being carnivore. I'm apparently a cool mum. And yeah, Ella just got back from a trip to Thailand with a little tattoo of a little fan on her arm. It's like, Mum, it's your turn now. And I'm like, okay, maybe.
For sure. But I mean, this is incredible. Well, on a serious note, I do believe that nothing happens by accident. And I believe that this was 100% meant to be. And I believe that this is a really good time to point out, that I am so happy and so proud of this community and this channel and everything that happened here, because, it is so fun to know that we can make a real difference, and that something can really change. I don't know about everybody, but I know that us three here, we're really used to trying all the diets and all the pills and all the things, but there's always this belief or just bad feeling in the back of our head that nothing ever really changes, nothing ever really works. It was just going to be another dead end and another fad diet and another thing. That's what always ended up making you feel, pretty defective, pretty busted compared to everybody else you ever, and this happens for everybody. We all think that somebody else has it put together and we don't. We're broken. Other people are normal. But that's what's so different about carnivore. That's why this has pushed us all to have a channel and be up here talking about it, because this is the first thing that ever truly was the answer. And you can see it right here with Lindy. This was like, she's getting down to the last, few years of her journey here. It takes a lot of time. It's only been 3 years for her, but she's already making such huge strides. And because of this community and because of this way of eating, it literally 110% probably saved her life, or at least saved her from losing her colon, and was within just days. And I cannot think of anything more meaningful than what this community is doing in that regard. I mean, it's this community and this information that we're all putting out there. I know, and I'm not just talking about us here. I'm talking about the whole carnivore community. We can all discount it and, think that it's just something, kind of friendly, kind of silly that's not making a difference. But it is making a difference. In SBG, we see a lot of this stuff every day of people truly making real differences and really changing habits and actually completely changing their life. And you guys are such a huge part of this, especially Lindy's right here right now. And it's incredible. And so we all want to thank you guys so much, because we could not have done this without you. It's incredible. You guys did this.
Well, I guess we should probably do this then too.
Oh, yes.
We're not there yet.
We're not there yet. We did miss our goal a little bit, but yeah. So anything you can do to help put that out there so that people, so that we can just get Lindy to the goal line, so that everything is done, because she still has to pay the remainder. She just paid the balance, or the deposit, but she's got to pay the balance. And
you saw that they took her belly button away because we didn't meet the goal.
Exactly. They're holding it as collateral.
So we need to get what, $4,300 more. We can get her belly button back.
Exactly.
I think it's long gone now.
we gotta raise bond for Lindy's belly button.
Yeah. No, I feel special with that one now. Like, I'm different to everybody else, and I'm proud of it. Like, yeah.
For sure. That's hilarious. You're making me think of all these funny things, what to do when me and Michael get to that point where we got to get skin surgery. One of us, Michael, should get a nipple tattooed where a belly button is, and put two navels up where our nipples are. That would be hilarious. that would throw people for a loop every time we go in for a physical.
Compared to the way they see us now, and we throw them for a loop for where our bodies are.
For sure. Well, actually, I mean, you would think so, but actually now it's looking, we're pretty commonplace now.
It is. Yeah.
For sure. That's awesome. Well, we are way happy to have you back, Lindy. We're so happy that you're healthy and you're glowing, and we cannot wait until you're, kicking more goals, as you say, and you'll be getting the rest of your surgeries before you know it, and you'll be right there, and showing that this is not another one of those fad diets that is just hype that you do for a while and then comes crashing down. This is a resolution.
Yeah, it's funny how the nurses responded. They're like, "Oh, what do you eat?" And, for the dietary stuff. And I'm just like, "Oh, I'm carnivore." "Oh, what's that?" Only one nurse knew what it was. And she's like, "Oh, great. That's fantastic. But it's no good to do long term." I'm like, "Oh, really?" And she goes, "Yeah, how long have you been doing it?" And I said, 3 years. She almost fell off the yeah, she was shocked, absolutely shocked. But every nurse said how well I looked, like coming out of surgery, how well I recovered. I was off painkillers within 2 days. I just had the andone for a couple of days, and then that stopped, and then they were offering me paracetamol every couple of hours, and I refused it. I just didn't need it. And I was getting up and going to the toilet, walking around, and they were amazed. And I'm just like, carnivore. they didn't like it, but yeah,
right.
It doesn't matter. But,
yeah, and then you're like, I bet your vegetable grazers don't pull through like this, do they?
Yeah, and there's so many sick people in there, and patients giving the nurses a hard time, and I was the easy one. The nurses would come into my room and like, "Oh, it was so nice to see you again, Lindy." And I think it's just because I didn't cause any issues. I was, a model patient. Yeah, very happy and chirpy, and just had no problems. So I was in there a week, and came home. I can't even remember. I don't even know what day it is today, Monday. I think Thursday I came home, and I'm just taking it easy now. I'm not allowed to do much, just a little bit of walking, just to keep a little bit active, but I'm not allowed to lift or do anything weird. Don't want to pull my stitches. So just taking it easy now.
That's awesome.
So,
well, what does Scott think since he got back? What has his reaction been?
Oh, the family have been stoked. Yeah, actually, got to see Catherine yesterday for the first time. She wasn't able to come down and see me, and she can't see because she's blind now. So she grabbed me and she goes, "Mum, you're so small now." Like she had to fill me up just to see what had happened, and she was really happy with that. So thank you.
That's awesome.
So no, they're very happy with me, very proud of me, and I think they're all amazed at how well I'm doing as well. So yeah.
Scott taking good care of you?
He just bought me some cheese because I was hungry.
Yeah,
been in meetings all morning and I haven't eaten yet, and it's like I just feel like some cheese. He just went out and bought some.
Lindy, between me and you, if you keep getting these surgeries, by the time you're done, you might have Scott fully trained.
We got to work on making him carnivore though. He's been naughty the whole time. So yeah,
we're gonna get after him because we're getting Scott belly surgery next.
Yeah, I wasn't a big fan of the food there, so I said, "Oh, honey, do you want to get some salmon?" And just I like the skins and the tails, and he puts them in the air fryer and they become all crispy. So, do you mind bringing me some salmon for dinner so we could sit down and watch maths together at night and eat some salmon? He burnt it like it was, and it gave me indigestion. It was just disgusting. The first time he cooked it, and he burnt it so yeah, I didn't eat that night.
Yeah, and you're like, is this dinner or a burnt sacrifice?
He's hoping. So it's good now that I'm home. I can tell him how many minutes and tell him what to do step by step. He's not a very good chef.
keep him on his game for sure. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, this is so. When does the bandages come off?
I go in on Thursday to change the bandage, and hopefully they don't put it back on. Everything's very clean. They've just got it's like a mesh bandage over the top, so I can actually see the scar, which goes from hip to hip all the way across. So it's not looking inflamed at all. It's not weeping at all.
It's good.
It's all looking very good. So I'm hoping that I won't need another bandage, or if I don't need a bandage, I can shower every day again. That's, I think, been the worst part. It's not being able to shower and wet my bandages. But as usual, I'm not really listening to the doctor, and I've already had a couple of showers and dry it with hairdryer, and everything's okay. So Thursday, I'll find out what the next step is, and hopefully I'll get a little bit more of a leash that I can get out and do some things.
That is awesome.
But yeah. Thank you.
So when did they say, what is the average 100% recovery time for most people? Is it
I think probably about 6 months. Yeah, because I still have a lot of swelling. I feel very pregnant. I've had so many injections in my stomach, just the anesthetic needles. I look like a porcupine. It's being attacked by a porcupine with all the injections on my belly.
All black and blue. Yeah.
Yeah. So it'll probably be a good 6 months. And I still feel numb if I touch my stomach. The whole stomach feels numb. So once all of that medication is out of my system, I'm hoping my stomach will deflate a little bit, because I do feel very pregnant at the moment, very bloated. And then, I can see what kind of shape I've got. But at the moment, everything's still very, very large and full of fluid, a lot of inflammation there. In no hurry. I know it'll all go. And
for sure.
Yeah.
Worst part's over.
Yeah, because they even took out the drains already and no wound vac or anything, right?
Awesome.
Yeah, I'm totally free. I had 2 drains in and also the wound vac. So I've never heard of it before, but it's like the bandage they put on you, and it sucks all the blood to the scar or something, and it promotes healing. So I had that on for until Wednesday, and then they took all the drains out and that back bandage off on the Wednesday, and then I was home Thursday. Yeah, so it was really good.
Did they give you any specific instructions about how to reduce the amount of scarring, like keep it out of the sun? Did they give you any specific instructions that work?
No. I'm hoping to find out more on Thursday when I go in.
Okay,
Yeah.
that'd be fantastic information for you, huh?
Yeah. But I'm not worried about the scarring. I had 13 stitches in my thumb, and you can barely see that. That's faded with carnivore.
Oh,
I
wow.
did that when I was like 5 years old, and I had a huge scar that went all the way across with 13 stitches, and now I can barely see it. So, yeah, it's a battle wound. It reminds me of where I've been, and I embrace it. I love my scar,
That's awesome.
so I'm not worried about it at all. But all the stitches are on the inside. It's all very clean, so it's a nice scar. He's done a really good job. He's super amazing surgeon.
Good.
That's really good. So obviously there's a lot to consider in the future, but I mean, I'm really encouraged by how, I mean, she called me 30 minutes after getting out of surgery. I'm like, what is my phone doing ringing right now? I could not believe you were calling me. And she was like, I feel fine. And I'm like, you're high right now. Because she just got out of the operating room like 30 minutes. I could not believe it. And then, but I thought for sure the next morning or the next day I'd be talking to you and you'd be in pain and you'd be groggy. Right. She never was. She was just like this the whole time. I could not believe how you flew through this surgery. It was insane.
Yeah, her first picture after surgery was unreal. She got color in her face. She looked great. Yeah.
Absolutely. Looked fantastic and was so happy. I mean, you actually look like you were happy and relieved.
At the spa.
Yeah. I was like,
yeah. I felt like a new person. Like you just don't realize how 9 kilos, 20 pounds of skin sitting on your lap, making it, you sit there, your feet would go to sleep. It was just so uncomfortable. And that was my life. It's been my life for such a long time. And I just felt so free afterwards, apart from the drains and the little suitcase for the bandage that I had to carry around with me. It was such a difference. And I was crying every time I moved, and I was able to, I have to sleep on my back. I can sleep on my back now. I'm not crushed by my weight anymore.
Here's her first picture that she sent us after surgery. Look at how good she looks.
Don't show Raymond my coffee.
Yeah, doing fantastic.
Yep.
Yeah. That's crazy. So, well, you've given me a lot of hope. Now, I'm going to ask this because I know you don't know what's next, because obviously that's one of many surgeries that can be had because there's a lot of skin. And that's going to be true for all of us, all three of us here, because of the size we started at. But what I'm encouraged by is, do you think now the way it is, do you think, and this is just a question for me, because I know that you're going to figure things out as you're going. And as
did you put QQQs in front of it?
I would show it to you, but I think I'd be censored on YouTube. I'd show you my QQQ. But do you think that it would be realistic to get one of those surgeries every 6 months, or do you think you'd have to wait every year? Like let's say you wanted to do your upper arm. Like there's so many questions, and I know us and many people in the audience have it because first of all, I've heard that it's really bad to do the 360 surgery because it's just too much to heal up from, and things can go wrong and things don't line up, and that you shouldn't get like a chest, arms, and abdomen surgery at the same time because that usually goes bad or has a really high chance that you're going to have to end up getting like adjustments later. Like, all of a sudden you got like lazy nipples and it looks like one of your nipples is looking left and one's looking down at your toes or something. And a few things like that. Now that you've kind of gone through this, and I guess we'll know more once you heal up and everything, but how many of these surgeries, how close and how far apart do you think you would assume would be probably the fastest you would have them?
Well, I don't know what the doctor recommends. It's definitely something I will ask his thoughts of. But I thought that it was too soon to have this surgery because, I still have so much weight to lose. And I thought I'm going to have a better result if I got lost all my weight. And the doctor said, no, he says, it's impacting your movement now. You can't do things. It's affecting your quality of life. We can do this surgery and give you that movement back, improve the quality of life, and you can always do a revision later. And I'm like, okay, well, that makes sense. And he was right. I'm so glad he told me that, because this is probably another reason I was sort of thinking it was too early, because I've still got a lot of weight to lose. But no, he's definitely totally right. It has made such a difference, and I can't wait till I get the go ahead and I can start to look. I've even got my rebounder and my treadmill behind me, all ready to go, because it's ready for winter, and just getting stuck into some exercise and being able to, wear some pants and do these things which I couldn't do before. I did a fitness challenge with Lynn, and I've been struggling with it for the last, 6 months since we started, because my stomach was always in the way. It would be clapping, it would be making weird noises, it was uncomfortable, it was pulling on me, and I'd end up with pulled muscles, and it's uncomfortable and just unpleasant. And here I am trying to do the best and exercise and add movement, and it was total torture, because my body was flying in different directions, and it's hard work. And to actually have that freedom to be able to do something and hopefully enjoy some exercise, because I want to move, but it was difficult. But I'm so looking forward to getting that all clear, and then starting to introduce some more exercise and see how I go. But just like wearing clothes now is such a big, it's a game changer. I can wear things and not have this mass in front of me anymore, which is weighing me down. And just finding my center of gravity has also been a big change. Standing at the elevator, and I was rocking because I didn't know how to stand anymore, and I almost felt like I was dizzy because I just didn't know what to do. I was holding on to Scott, and I'm like, I don't know how to stand straight anymore, because I'm normally overcompensating with my weight. And I just felt really free. So there's a lot to learn, and I'm taking it slowly so I don't have a tumble or do something silly. But it's just given me a really bright future ahead of me. So, yeah, I'm not sure with the surgeries, if I'll keep having them. It's a lot of money, definitely a lot of money. And the stomach was impacting me big time. The rest I can hide with some long sleeves and a skirt. I'm not too fussed, it's not impacting my life like my stomach does. That, I don't know why they think that's cosmetic when you've got that much skin to lose on your tummy. It's not. It's a necessity, a medical necessity. And obviously, if they found a hernia, if they didn't do that surgery, it could have been, might not be.
You would have had a lot
today.
more problems, and a much bigger surgery you would have needed.
Yeah, so I don't know.
So the $1 million question that everybody asks us is, what about the skin? Will you get it cut off? I don't know that I can think about getting it cut off. There's so many people that don't want to do carnivore because they're worried about the skin. There's so many people that worry about losing weight. There's so many people that worry about having to make the decision whether they want to try to get the skin surgery or not. Now that you're there, one is, was the surgery worth it? And two, was the surgery, are there any regrets with doing carnivore so far? What is it for the people out there that always ask that?
Absolutely not. Carnivore the way for me. It's just because it's given me that freedom and that off switch that I never had before. I just find it, not thinking about food 24/7 is just such a relief, and I have got a life now. And there was a stage where I got a bit depressed, after Texas last year, and I kind of fell off the wagon a little bit, and I was having trouble getting on board, and I'm like, I'm spiraling again. I can't have this. And now that I'm back on track, and you just got to keep at it. This is too important. This is my future, and I just do not want to go back to how I was before. I'm moving forward. I'm looking forward at a positive future. and just that one cookie turns into a whole packet, and then it just becomes a packet of chips, and then the ice cream, and then everything else, because I've got an addiction or comfort thing. Like, I have no idea what it is, but whatever it is, carnivore has fixed that for me and given me that food freedom. So look, I do not regret having the surgery. I think thanks to the community, it's been a life-changing and life-saving procedure for me. And I probably will need another surgery once I've lost more weight. I'm going to have loose skin again. But I don't think it's going to, like the loose skin that I had, I couldn't live with. It was very difficult. Whereas now I can put compression garments on. If I lost weight now, I could probably just put compression garments on and it wouldn't be an issue. There was no way I could do that before because I just don't fit in anything. There was way too much skin. So it has definitely put me in a better position for later. And whether I can afford to do another surgery or revision later, I have no idea. But if not, I've got the option of wearing compression gear, and I'm happy with that. So
that was one of the questions I forgot to ask you. Did the surgeon give you any instructions on wearing compression gear? Because when I watched it, they said to get the fluid off and to start healing as soon as possible, and also to start that healing on the underlying tissue. What is that? Is it the collagen layer under the skin, or what is that? Where the stretch marks happen? I can't remember. But that layer of tissue, they said that it's really helpful to wear some compression clothes when you're healing up to keep the
swelling down.
Yeah, keep the swelling down and to promote tight healing,
I wonder if that's what that vac bandage does, the vacuum bandage.
It does, yeah.
I don't know, but
that's if the wound is leaking, the vacuum, the wound vac pulls the liquid out so it doesn't sit on the wound and break the skin down. So that's what that's for, and it does promote the blood flow and everything else. Wound vacs are great after surgery. I wanted one when I had my surgery to bring it home with me, and my insurance wouldn't let me. Only if they let me have it if I sat in a nursing home.
Wow, and charge. Yeah. Isn't that stupid that they won't let you have it unless you cost them more money?
I know. My doctor was really upset with that.
Yeah. That's crazy. Well, that's really good news. And I think that they're doing a better job. It's just going to be fun. I don't know. Everybody here is just going to have to hang with us for like the next 3 to 5 years to see how this all works out. But then we should all have all the surgeries done. And I'm really looking forward at giving all the trolls and naysayers one of these.
Yeah.
A few other things too. Yeah.
A few other things, what it's done, because, we didn't hop on here when we were on a calorie restrictive diet, or when we were on, even when Lindy was doing bariatric surgery, because it was so awesome. We all knew that when all that stuff was going on, it had the same pending doom feeling that every other diet that we'd ever been on had.
Just counting the days till you fail.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yep.
Where this one, within, months, we all knew, because of the change that it did to our hormones and us mentally and physically, and how it just kind of freed us from all this stuff. We all knew right away.
Lindy's off switch. It's one of the best things that any of us ever had.
Yeah, because, I've said it before, but one of the most maddening comments that we get is these people going, it's not carnivore, it's the fact that you're not eating all the junk. And I'm like, yep, but carnivore is the reason why we're not eating all the junk. Right. Carnivore, no other diet allowed us to not eat all the junk. No other diet healed our body. And so, yes, you said it, but you're saying the same thing. You're just saying it backwards to pretend like carnivore is not the answer. But carnivore, you can't not eat all the junk if you're a carbaholic and you're lighting up those those neurological pathways and to habits that we all had, and that dopamine fix, and this is what set us all free. It's Lindy's off switch. And that's what you need to understand. And then in addition to that, giving us the power back to change those habits and fix our hormones and our brain chemistry and break those habits, it also is so much more healing. It's so much more nourishing to the body, and so you get healthy. Carnivore is the only carnivore freaks people out because they're like, oh no, I'm on carnivore that I hear works so well, but I'm gaining weight. And it's like, yeah, but what weight are you gaining? And then they hold on for a little while and they found out that they gain muscle and bone and they gain white tissue and they gain strength. And so they gain weight, but they lost shirt sizes and pant sizes. Yeah. And so it's just, it's absolutely incredible. And I think we're at the very crust of this. I think that we're going to see this thing really grow and get big if we can all get this information out there and stay the course and not let them fear monger
waking up to it.
Yeah, we're going to see this. So I don't know. It's fun to be on the dawn of this. It's really
we're the first ones in it. That's awesome.
Yeah.
I almost feel like a rebel because we're going against the grain. So like we're the kids in the back seat saying, no, I'm not listening to you.
We've done everything they told us all these years and none of it worked.
We have.
Okay.
Yeah.
We've tried all the diets, the diet pills, the Dexatrim back in the day, back in the 70s and the 80s. I used to take them trying to drop weight. So this is the only thing that has ever worked for me. And I've been dealing with this all my life. Todd, you've been dealing with it all your life, and Lindy, so have you. So,
right. Yeah. And the biggest thing is, have any of you ever started a YouTube channel to talk about any other diet before in your life? No. No, nobody did. And did, literally what pushed us here is we went, holy crap, this is happening.
And none of us have gone blind.
No, none of us have scurvy. None of us went blind.
And our visions have improved compared to other drug procedures that are out there that are making people lose weight that we can't say because we'll get strikes. But that study that I just posted about people going blind. So
for sure, none of the fear mongering that everybody fear mongers about happened yet. The side effects from a lot of the other treatments, let's say, that are pushed, that are the magic pill treatments, they have side effects.
We can't lie. Carnivore does have side effects. Okay. One of the side effects is you have to keep getting smaller clothes.
That's true. That's a terrible side effect. That is a terrible side effect. And you, all of a sudden my favorite quote was, it was actually on Bella's, because I think Bella's, what was it, New York Post or the New York Times? She's been in it twice now. And on the last one, it was talking about not being gassy anymore. And one of my favorite comments was, there was a guy in the comments, he goes, I just knew there'd be a downside. I was laughing pretty hard. I was like, I really like that. But yeah, I just knew there'd be a downside. Well, man, let's start getting on some of these questions before we get too buried, I suppose. And then we'll come back to this if we get caught up. Oh, we got a new member in the house. That's awesome. Grandma Gigi.
Oh, hi. Welcome.
So happy to have you. And here we go. Question. Todd, do you have a meat grinder? I do have a meat grinder. It's, what are those ones called? EMLs or hold on. Let me look. I always get that. Let me pull that up real quick. LEM. I always get that backwards. I have a little dyslexic crap going on up here, but it's the LEM number 8, I believe. It's 525 watts. I think it does a pound every 2 minutes. It's a slow one, right? It was only $75 for the whole thing. And that's because I just wanted to try it. And I thought, well, then I'm going to get one of these massive ones later that does like 25 pounds a minute. And then I realized, why? Like, what am I going to be making 25 pounds of ground up meat a minute for? Like, am I in that big a hurry? I can spare 5 minutes and be good, So I just kept this one, and I use it to make all sorts of things. But my favorite is I like to grind my own burger now because then I know what's in it. It's a little bit cheaper and it's way higher quality because you can go get like a chuck and a brisket and then a little bit of pork belly or bacon, and you can make your own awesome burger patties. So I like to do like 35 to 40%, and even up to 60% brisket. I lean toward the brisket. I do trim the fat, save the fat, make tallow out of it, trim the meat off it, and do 40 to 60% brisket, whatever I'm feeling that day, and then usually around 20% chuck, and then I throw in like 20% bacon into it. And I grind it all together so it's a ground up bacon burger patty, and then I add pickled jalapenos to it, and I smoke those babies. And then if I'm feeling a little bit naughty, I will put some horseradish sauce on top too, because I really like the horseradish.
Good stuff.
But don't sick the carnivore police after me.
I don't have weight, but a tumor, and your motivation makes me fight. Oh, yeah.
That's incredible. Well, there's a lot of people that have tumors that shrink on carnivore for sure. We keep seeing that. I think Phil said his wife had a couple of tumor masses or whatever that are shrinking right now too, but we see that a lot, so that's incredible.
Beef, butter, bacon, eggs saved my life. Lost 182 pounds. Reversed type 2 diabetes. A1C is now 5.4. Restored my eyesight. No longer sleep apnea. 63-year-old male. 2 med, no fruit, no veggies, no snacking, no carbs, no sweets. Yay.
That's awesome.
Jammer.
Yeah.
Congratulations, man.
You got this.
Cooking videos, please. Absolutely. I am definitely making that a priority now because I've been getting humbled by that lately, which is funny because I feel like I'm just going to be a letdown because I only cook like 15 things, but I will definitely put them up there. Feel free to humble me for the lack of lack of quality and expertise, but I'll definitely be happy to show y'all. And but the thing is, I live in the Rocky Mountains. It is butt freaking cold out there, so we will not be filming until the weather gets nice, which we have a saying in Montana that we have 9 months of winter and 3 months of road construction, but I'm going to say I'll have 9 months of winter and 3 months of cooking videos for you guys. And we're coming into that, and I will get an archive built so that you guys can have them for whatever they're worth, but I will definitely put that together.
And we need the Aussie conversions as well. So I know temperatures and my was the sea level and all that kind of stuff. So you've got to build that into your videos.
I'll have a tech video so that we can do the conversions, but no worries.
Thank you. Hi, how long into carnivore before you were confident that you wanted to do carnivore for the rest of your life? Gosh, well, I was coached for probably the first 8 months of my carnivore journey, and so they kept me on track because I failed everything else. And so having that accountability, I was scared to sit at my coaching session every Friday and say, I failed. So I think having that accountability obviously did keep me going because it could have easily fallen off. Because my family's not carnivore, people were telling me I was going to kill myself. So I needed to have the coaches there. I beck and call on WhatsApp to help me and keep me on track. And after that, I was fine. I got rid of the coaching and I was fine to just go it alone. So probably a good 8 months, but I needed the coaches all the way until that point. So
that's awesome. Yeah, and I'm glad that she did because she was the one that told me about SBG and pulled me in there. And I was like, I don't need any of these stinking help groups. What are we going to sit together in a drum circle and sing Kumbaya? And then I got in there. I'm like, I'm such a moron. This place is awesome.
Yeah, and I've always been the type of person to do it myself. Like I know what to eat. I know how to diet. I know everything. I don't need a freaking coach to tell me what to do. But I did. I needed that support. I needed someone to talk to, and the videos just weren't enough for me. I needed that accountability and to be scared every Friday to not let these people down, because I would easily let myself down because I had such a bad opinion of myself. I just felt like a failure and I didn't want to let them down. So it helped.
For sure.
Okay, well, you go first.
I have 322 pounds, I think, as of today. Lindy?
Yeah, I've lost over 500, but I couldn't tell you because I don't know what my actual weight was. It's just error on the scale, but over 500.
I don't even know where I'm at now. I got to do my math really quick here. 202. where I'm at.
Michael's at
Yay.
2. Killing it. That's awesome. How was your eating plan in the hospital? Did they feed you meat or did your husband bring it in for you?
Oh, I think Michael might have a photo of my husband eating my meals.
I do.
Yeah, the meals were not carnivore. I would just scrape the sauces off and eat the meat that was there. But honestly, I wasn't hungry, so I didn't eat a lot. Bacon and eggs for breakfast, and that sort of satisfied me. And I just waited till I got home. And now I'm actually on the way home. I made Scott stop over at the butcher, and we got some beef Wagyu ribs. And yeah, they were fantastic. So we've chopped them all up into little pieces for me, and I've been air frying those. Yeah, so that's my meal. But he's not carnivore, so he was eating the bread rolls and everything. I didn't tick it on my list, but I ticked the butter, bacon, and eggs. Yeah, that was an awful fish. I didn't even eat that. It was crumbed and disgusting. Yeah. So the nurses were happy with me because my trays were always empty because of my husband. So,
you tagged in your sidekick.
yeah. So
Backup plan.
otherwise they would have been on my back if I had have left, food in the trays and all that. So yeah, I've got my little tricks. I'm still cheeky.
That's awesome. Question, Todd, what will be the first cooking video? I just got a pellet grill, so I'd love to see some smoking videos or some sous vide ideas. Absolutely. I'm going to do a bunch of those. So to be honest with you, I don't know what the first smoking one will. It will definitely be smoking videos that are going to be the first ones. And then I'm probably going to make a bunch of them at once because I have the Traeger Timberline XL that's got a outside burner on it too. So I can also do some cooking videos on that. And I prefer to do it outside. The lighting's just better. And I'm just in a much better mood than when I'm cooped up in a tiny area and my dogs. If I'm in the house cooking, my dog drives me insane because she's a little terrorist, really. She holds me hostage and hijacks me for food because she knows that she can abuse me when I'm busy and then I'll just feed her to make her go away. And so she drives me crazy. So I got to do it outside so that Cosette doesn't pick me blind. But I'm going to do one on smoked prime rib, which is one of my personal favorites, and smoked picanha, and smoked New York strip, and smoked brisket, also pork belly, smoked pork belly. Smoked bacon's fun. I'm going to do smoky burgers, jalapeno bacon smoky burgers. I'm going to do some homemade brats and sausages that I like to do. Smoked eggs, which sounds crazy, but you take eggs and it's the easiest one you can do. You literally take the eggs, put them in the smoker raw in the shell, and you smoke them and they come out amazing. So smoked eggs are sweet. Believe it or not, the smoke gets through the shell. It's crazy.
Oh, I'm sure it does.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So smoked eggs are fun. I'm going to do those. And then I'm going to probably do what I haven't tried yet that I'm going to do is I'm going to do a sous vide brisket jalapeno birria chili, meat chili, and then I'm going to put it on the smoker in a cast iron skillet and finish it with smoke to thicken it up. And I think that might be a game changer. It's going to give it a little bit of a kind of that smoky kick, kind of like you might get out of a Chipotle adobo type smoky flavor. So I'm going to do some of that. And then we will also go through all the ways to make a steak, as far as reverse seared, sous vide and seared, like sous vide and pan seared, sous vide and salamander seared, sous vide and weed burner seared, sous vide and searsall seared, sear vide and hot cast iron skillet seared. We're going to do all those. And then we'll do all the air fryer ones. We'll go through all those. Yeah, it's going to be fun. There's quite a few videos because I know it sounds crazy, but when you're carnivore, the different ways of cooking meats and the different cuts of meat is like having a totally different meal. It really is. So
I'm excited for the chili recipe. I'd love to try that one.
All right. We're doing it.
Lindy, Marilyn, and I are thankful for your good fortune and rapid recovery. We love you and you're an inspiration to us. Oh, thank you, Marilyn and Charlie. I appreciate you both.
Thank you, Marilyn. Charlie.
Love you guys too.
They're awesome. We do love them.
Yeah. I love you, Lindy. Awesome to see how great you're doing. Thank you so much. It's so nice to be back. I missed you guys. I have been watching the live streams and sort of sitting in the background, but yeah, I missed you all. Thank you. Thank you, Anne. Well done, Lindy. I also had skin removal surgery on my eyelids 2 weeks ago and also recovered fast. My eyelids were over my eyes and blocking my right eyesight. Now I can see it was from my weight loss. Wow, that's amazing. Just that, you know, the surgery's been a game changer for me and obviously for you as well. So that's, and yeah, the recovery. I think, yeah, we're kicking goals, aren't we? Definitely. If you can recover so well after surgery, like you hear so many nightmares, and I was actually worried that I'd be in pain and all this stuff, and nothing. Like I'd do it again in a heartbeat. Not concerned about it at all.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Everyone in SPG is glad you're back. They're all tired. I love the imitations of you. Thank you.
You know what that is, don't you?
No, I don't. Who is it?
That's your favorite fan of when you say yeah at the end. So yeah.
Yeah, okay.
I won't out his name, but yeah.
Yeah, love you. Thank you. I've been carnivore since December 25, 24. I tried making keto chow ice cream. I ate one spoonful, was immediately sick. It has sunflower seed oil. I'm so disappointed. Oh, so the keto chow has sunflower
Really, I
oil
didn't
in
know
it?
that. I didn't think it did, but that's crazy.
I bought myself a Ninja Creamy like 6 months ago. It's still sitting in the cupboard. I haven't tried it yet.
Yeah, I did exactly this. I didn't know that it had sunflower seed oil in it because I got the whole bunch of the keto chows. And the trick is you have to use 2 bags per. So you have to double the amount of keto chow you use if you're going to make ice cream. Because when you freeze something, it's like only about half as palatable on your taste buds. And that's true for any ice cream that you make. Like the super cold dumbs down the flavor. So you got to make the flavor more concentrated. But yeah, I made my mom a million of these different. We tried like all the flavors and made them, and I wasn't eating them because the artificial sweetener would send me off. But I didn't care with my mom because she has a hard time eating, and she just didn't like the film that it seemed to leave on her tongue, and maybe that was the stupid seed oil. Then I didn't think that was in it.
So do you use cream for your ice cream?
I do.
Yeah. I'd like a non-dairy version if there is one. So if anyone has a recipe, I actually want to try my egg colada recipe, but I haven't done it yet. I'll give that a try. But yeah, because I don't want to do dairy.
I think you can use water and then add egg yolks for the extra fat. So if you supplement the cream for eggs and water, I think that works too.
Yeah, that's what I'd like to try. I don't want to have the cream.
Yeah,
I'm
egg
still
yolk.
on a journey, so
For sure.
Yeah. You've had a lot of nerves cut, so once your feeling starts to come back, you may have some periodic pains when the nerves wake up and say, hey, yeah, okay. Yeah, no, feeling good at the moment. The only thing is all the injection sites I had, it was all like anesthetic, and so I feel very numb, but like just like pins and needles almost. But yeah, I have next to no pain at all. So I don't know, maybe it's just the type of surgery that I had. He literally just cut skin off and didn't hit any nerves. I don't know. But it's definitely something I want to ask. And the other thing I want to ask is what happened to my port for my lap band, because it's no longer there. I was feeling around for it. I was like, oh, I think I've lost my port, which I don't care. I don't use my lap band. It's just the restriction's still there, but I don't use it at all. But I think that might have I've lost that as well.
Slipped through the cracks. You're like, hey, you forgot my access port here.
No, I was fine to lose it, but obviously I've still got half of a lap band in me. Yeah.
Blessings, Lindy. Todd, exactly when is your Montana meetup? Carrie said July 5th or so, but I'm waiting to know if you have an exact spot picked out yet. I'm going to go to Idaho in July. Absolutely. So I think it's going to be July 3rd, 4th, and I think we're gonna. Well, it's gonna be July 4th, 5th, and 6th. I believe is what it's gonna be. And then depending on how we do this, but it's definitely gonna be July 4th and 5th. So people will probably want to start flying in around July 3rd. And then we are going to have exact plans here out probably in the next 4 weeks. We should have all the plans out, if not sooner. And then I will get that to you. But you can definitely plan on. It's definitely going to be in Bozeman, Montana, or thereabouts. Let's say within 30-minute drive ish of the Bozeman airport, which is actually in Belgrade, oddly enough, but the BZN airport. And definitely on the 4th and 5th, and possibly and probably the 6th. So
I just want to bring this up about the keto chow. They have to list it. Well, they don't have to list it, but they list it because it's part of how they make it, but it doesn't contain sunflower oil.
Okay.
So if you, I'll post a link to how they explain it, but it doesn't have sunflower oil in it.
Yeah, that would have made me mad because Ken Berry sells that. So I wouldn't assume that it would have ever, because he's against that.
It says due to food regulations, it's an edible oil that's used when they make it. So technically they don't have to put it in, and it's got 0.00% in it. So they just it's just on the label for a reason.
Perfect. All right. Thank you, Michael. Michael, you look great. How are you doing?
Doing okay. I'd be doing better if I didn't have all the swelling and my arm issue now and all the other pains that I got.
Yeah. Are you having the same oxalate nerve pain that I was having from?
I don't know what it is. Something popped in my arm, and ever since I can feel something in here. I don't know if I'm gonna have to get x-rays or what. Something popped in my arm. And it's the pain. It's weird. The pain that I have it feels like a burning sensation. It feels like it's on fire, like I burnt my skin. It's really weird pain. Yeah.
Wow, that's crazy. All right.
You three are superstars. Thank you for your stories and advice. No, just not superstars. We're just sharing our stories.
We are 3 super facetious people, but not stars. But we're definitely happy that you guys always put up with us every Sunday. So we appreciate you guys so much.
Beef tallow is great for scar healing. My wife had wrist surgery a few months ago, and her scars are very minimal now. I have plenty of that. I just need to wait for the bandage to go, and I can definitely use beef tallow.
That's awesome, Brett.
Mm.
Brett, I want to know that too. I'm planning to be at Todd's 4th of July party this year. Yes, absolutely. Well, I just answered that. And Brett, I'm hoping you are, because I'm hoping you and Ashley are coming, because I want to commandeer you to run a couple of smokers for us. So we got to talk here.
A working holiday. Gosh.
Yeah, well, sort of. Brett and Ashley, let's talk, because you guys are, the goats when it comes to running those smokers and everything. So we want the dynamic duo to do the cooking, if at all possible, to help us out. And we'll be talking soon. So stay tuned.
It probably didn't help that you didn't know you had a hernia. That wouldn't have helped either. Yeah, I was quite shocked, because when I was rolled into my room, my husband was like, "Oh, I just spoke to the doctor, and he said you had a mess inside you, and it was a big mess." And I don't know, I thought I had cancer, or the way he was talking. I had no idea, and it took me like 2 or 3 days before the doctor actually came and told me what had happened. He didn't realize it was hernia. My husband, I think he was just overwhelmed with it all. He was worried about me being in surgery, and he just didn't retain anything that the doctor said. Like, something went grey, and then all this happened, and he was just so I was scared for the first couple of days until I could actually speak to the doctor. And then he confirmed it was a hernia and showed me photos and told me what was going down. But it was a big shock to think that, this procedure saved my life for sure. He said it was literally a matter of days. So, I get quite upset every time I think of it. He knew.
Well, but what an awesome report and what an awesome story. I mean, I don't know. We're going to be talking about that later more too in further future episodes. But I mean, it's just I don't know. I think it's divine intervention. I think it worked out perfectly. Mark, I want to drive down to Todd's meetup from Alberta, Canada. It's only 9 hours away. Absolutely, Mark. I'd love to meet you, and I hope you could definitely make it. It'll be awesome. Yeah, I love to drive, so I would definitely make that.
You're gonna pick them up?
I'll pick them up. I ain't scared. They won't let me in Canada after all the stuff I've said about Trudeau, but but for sure. No, I'd love to see you there, Mark. LaDonna, I'm driving down from Todd's for Todd's as well. From Utah or Idaho, depends on my camping adventures. Oh, that's awesome. Can't wait to see you. And everybody goes, LaDonna is just now making YouTube videos. She's about to make her first one. If you guys could all go over there and subscribe to the Carnivore Camper, that'd be awesome. Help LaDonna out. She's awesome. All right. I know this guy. Hey, legends. It's the Naked Chef here. Want to cook you a salmon?
Say no. Say no.
No, if you want to earn your true Naked Chef like credential card, you have to cook 5 pounds of bacon naked, not in the oven. It's got to be or an air fryer. It's got to be in a skillet, no splatter protection. Let's see if you can handle that, Scott. If you can do that.
Hang on, this is the same person that asked you how to break up ground beef in a pot the other day.
Scott, I gotta level with you, pal. I thought you were joking when you asked that question because it was funny. Only today did Lindy let me know that you were serious, because my answer was when he said, "How do you grind up ground beef and chop it up?" I said, "With my teeth." Is how I do it. But I didn't think that you could possibly mean, how do you do it in the skillet?
Yeah, and I just said to him, you just need a bit of manual labor, get a wooden spoon, and you just like whack it until it all grinds up to the consistency you like. But he doesn't like the manual labor. So he asked Bella and Todd, how do I break up my minced meat?
Scott, when you get here, I'm going to gift you like a whole dozen meat choppers. So, you know, the ground beef choppers, so you can use those. I was actually looking, that did send me down a rabbit hole, because I was going to try to get a really efficient one for Scott as a joke. But I got to thinking, you know, I don't like the silicone ones because they off gas, and I don't like the metal ones because they scratch my pans. So there's only actually a handful of the wooden ones out there. And so I was trying to find the wooden ones, and I have 2 wooden ones, but they're getting hard to get. And I was like, why is that? The wooden ones are the ones that should be the easiest to get, because they make the most sense, you know. They don't off gas, they don't melt, and they don't scratch your pans, you know.
Now, I was so embarrassed when he put that question in. I'm like, oh my God.
We got a good kick out of it, though. It was awesome. I was laughing so hard. I'll be there, Todd, Lindy, Michael. I'm on a journey for the rest of my life, 100%.
Yeah, we're definitely the cool kids, aren't we? The cool kids carnivore club. Yeah.
That's awesome. Yeah, I can't wait. And you know, that's what I'm thinking. You know, I think we're going to see a huge jump in the carnivore direction over the next 4 years. And so I think it really pumps me up to stay the course. And I mean, I was anyways, but to really be able to be one of the examples of quieting the noise of all the naysayers and the you know, all the hype and the nonsense and the disinformation and the, you know, the pushback from the food and drug trolls.
Yeah. 10 weeks in, fat gain, blood sugar up, non-diabetic, and previously slim, no mental, physical, or neuro benefits yet, fatty meat and yolks. First huge 6 liters a day.
All right, so let's go over this again. 10 weeks in, fat gain. Okay, I would like to know how you know that it's fat and not weight. So you're going to have to let me know that. Blood sugar up, that's actually somewhat normal, but it doesn't matter. You're not even in 90 days yet to get, what's that test called for the A1C?
HbA1c.
Yeah, exactly. Because you need a 3-month average. You don't even know what your recent average is. So just keep that in mind. Non-diabetic. So the blood sugar right now, what I'm saying is you're way too early to tell what that is. No mental or physical or neuro benefits yet. The neuro benefits take the longest because unless you're getting neuro benefits from getting rid of fluid retention that's causing circulation problems, if you're actually talking about like neuropathy and myelin healing, that's one of the slower things. So give that time.
Yeah.
The 6 liters a day, that's not a big surprise. So also if you're gaining weight so there's many reasons that you could be doing 6 liters of water a day. One of them, you could be over salting, right? So when everybody first goes carnivore, and especially if you're eliminating all other seasonings, we tend to over salt, and everybody hears that that's the thing to do. And there's kind of a push in that direction, but that is going to make you hold more fluid, and it's also going to raise your sodium. So your body's going to want to drink more to get it out. Also, there's another thing that can happen, which is, you're full of a lot of oxalates and toxins. And when your body's healing, it wants to flush some crap out, including, out of your fat cells and clean up some things. So you can also get thirstier when your body's calling to flush some stuff out. So all those things, but we would need to know way more from you. I just want to make sure the carnivore is a optimization diet. So it's very, very, very common for people to gain weight at first, and some of those people will gain weight while they lose inches. Some of those people will gain weight in inches for a while they're healing, and then it comes off. But no matter what, your body's going to heal first, and then it's going to get lean out later. Your body has to heal and get healthy enough that it can attack and survive going after a bunch of detoxing and dropping a bunch of weight, but it's not going to prioritize the weight until you're metabolically healthier and healing, and your metabolism is healing, and your hormones are healing, and even your immune system's healing up. Then your body will start feeling safe, and it'll start to allow some of that to go. But that's only if you're eating the right amount of food, that you're properly nourished, and that your body, that you're not full of cortisol and stress, because I can feel the tension in your your comment here, and that's not going to help you drop any weight either, because you are like in a stressed state. You really have to just let that stuff go and go, I don't care what this scale says. Like, just put that scale in a closet for like the next 90 days and lock that thing and leave it in there, and just concentrate on how you feel, right? And see where you go from there. But also, if you would like some good encouragement and examples of people that are going through exactly what you've already gone through with the stalls and the uncertainties and everything of this, join the Steak and Butter Gang and come and hang out with us and see all the other people, not just us 3 here, but see all the other people that are doing it at different stages, from brand new to 7 years into it, that have all gone through these or are currently going through these. And you'll hear in real time dozens and dozens and dozens, if not hundreds, of people that have gone through this or are going through it that can help you through it. And I think that would be a super benefit to you.
Has anyone ever heard of anyone not reversing type 2 diabetes on the carnivore diet?
I have not, and I say that frequently. Sometimes it takes longer. I've seen people have reversed it and it seems like 90 days, and then I've seen people that it takes, have taken 24 months to do it, but I've never seen anybody yet that hasn't reversed it and put it in remission. How about you guys?
Yeah, my doctor said that you can never reverse diabetes. You can only put it in remission, and that's what I did. And I know if I start eating carbs, I'll definitely go back to that, being type 2 diabetic again, but I have no...
I wish I understood what that means better. I mean, I'm sure that there's a clinical, scientific, really brilliant reason for saying that, but I really think that isn't that convenient that that the people that sell the drugs for type 2 diabetes want us to believe that it can never be reversed. You know what I mean?
Right. They don't want you to know that. Yeah.
No, they don't want you to know that. And also, what if you're smacking your toe with a hammer and it hurts?
Right.
And then you stop smacking your toe with the hammer and it stops hurting. It's like saying that your toe can't heal because if you hit it with the hammer again, it's still going to hurt. And it's like, well, no kidding, right? Like I never said that we can't get re-addicted to carbs and then cause ourselves to have type 2 diabetes again. I don't think that we're impervious to ever having type 2 diabetes. But I think if you're the idea, you know, when I think of you can't reverse type 2 diabetes, I think that you can't, you know, once you did damage, it's irreversible to where it'll never go away no matter what you do. Where that's not what we're seeing. We're seeing that if you eat carnivore, it goes away. And their idea is, well, if you go back to eating bad, it's going to come back, so it's not reversed. It's like, no kidding, Sherlock. Yeah.
It doesn't make any sense. Like my numbers are good now. So aren't I doing okay?
Right.
So
doesn't
why
that mean
change?
it's reversed? Like you're not
Yeah.
taking insulin, so your body's responding to your natural insulin and it's bringing it down. So doesn't that make it reversed? I think it does. Why is it that they can use that logic? Like literally, it's like, oh, I was poking myself in the eye and so I can't see, but then I stopped poking myself in the eye. Now I can see. And they're like, yeah, but you still have, you know, you still have eye damage because if you poke yourself in the eye some more, you're still not going to be able to see. It's the stupidest logic. Like somebody explain that to me, how the hell that works. It sounds like some really fantastic logic to sell some drugs. That's what it sounds like to me.
That's all it is. Yeah. They don't want to lose subscribers.
Now that RFK has been sworn in, things are going to start changing in a big way at the federal level.
Yes, and I agree. I try not to get too political because YouTube likes to put me in the clink when I do that, but 100% I'm looking forward to it, and I can't wait. I can't wait for Doge to start cutting people out of that system left and right. I cannot wait for the bloodbath. I'm going to stop right now, but
Todd, how do you know so much about food? Were you a chef in a previous life?
No, I am a lifelong fat kid. So,
that's right.
When you're a lifelong fat kid, it's just food and flavor is in your DNA. It's part of the fabric that I was woven in. So
Right.
I don't know. I just think like a fat kid, and it turns out to be delicious. You guys know that Irish guy? I love that Irish guy where he ends all of his. He's a fat Irish guy, but he ends all of his TikToks and Instagrams with "Follow me, I'm delicious."
Oh, don't know that one.
You got his name's Garen something. I love that guy. He's funnier than crap, but he always ends his videos, "Follow me, I'm delicious." And I'm like, yeah, that should be every fat guy's mantra. But anyhow, yes, fat guys I think know how to make delicious food in their DNA. I think it's a thing. How many do you think? But I think at the lowest end, well, wait a minute. How many people do you think will be at your 4th of July meetup? Okay, the meetup part. I think at the lowest end would probably be 150. I think at the high end, 300 probably. So somewhere in there.
Is this just carnivores or like the people that...
No, that's why I had to separate that. There could be a lot more people at the show. So that's why I was separating that. But just at the meetup, 150 to 300.
So has Bozeman got accommodation enough for 300 people?
Oh, yeah, for sure. Oh, yeah. When our population doubles during graduation because we're a college town. So we'll get 50 to 60,000 people that come in for graduation, and it just goes... population goes through the roof.
Sorry, this is off topic, but what brand is your rebounder? Nothing's off topic here. That is a Jump Sport Pro, and I've usually got a bird sitting on the handlebar, but he's back in his cage. He loves it. Yeah, Jump Sport Pro, $390, I think. Just
but
a small one.
Is Jaylee in Australia though?
It is Australian, yeah, because we can't get. What have you got?
I got a B can. So what I was saying is, if Lindy's in Australia, so that's the one to get. If you're in Australia, if you're in the States, you want to get a B can, which lucky for you, if you are in the States, it's like 25% of the price. It's like way cheaper.
Yeah.
And I've been,
This is expensive.
yeah,
But I needed it for my weight. I needed something that was going to take my weight. But there
Yeah.
are definitely cheaper options
And
out there.
They got the B can on sale on Amazon right now for a $40 off coupon. So you're looking at $149 for and that's for the big one. If you're a smaller person, you don't need one that holds 550 pounds.
yeah.
Yeah.
But it's crazy to get one for $150 with the oh crap handle,
Mhm.
for $150 because you have what, like $900 into that one with the oh crap handle?
Did my one?
Yeah.
For Lindy's, yeah.
Oh, the handle itself is like $300.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then I think it was $780 or something Australian for the base. Yeah, it
Yeah.
was
So it's like,
ridiculous. But
yeah. So that's like $900 US for that one compared to the B can. And I'll tell you what, the B can is holding up really nicely because I've been using it almost a year now. So,
yeah.
all right.
Ever had someone's blood sugar being too low? I have low blood sugar, low blood pressure, low blood sugar. Doctor says it's my adrenals and pituitary and thyroid. He was fine with carnivore, but worried about my blood sugar.
So, those blood sugar all right. First of all, I'm not a doctor. So, talk to a real doctor, but one that's familiar with
You don't play one on TV?
I do play one on TV, but it really pisses people off. So, but I'm not a doctor, but I do know that this is what a lot of the carnivore doctors say, and that those blood sugar ranges are built off of people on the standard American diet that are eating a ton of sugar. So those ranges that they call normal are not carnivore normal. When you're not eating any sugar or any carbohydrates, those are not carnivore normal. So, for instance, I had a CGM for about 30 days and I finally beat that thing with a hammer because it wouldn't stop making my phone go off because it said constantly that I was going to die because my blood sugar was too low and my blood pressure was too low. But our blood sugar is lower on carnivore because we are not in that normal range. And that tells you how sick our society is, that a normal healthy non-poisoned with sugar and carbohydrate range is considered deadly or too low and whatever, not deadly, but too low and worrisome or whatever concerning in the medical world. But I can tell you that that's almost for every carnivore that I've ever met that checks their blood sugar. In fact, what most people tell you is don't check your blood sugar because, like that, you can do the A1C over the 3-month thing. That's a good test, but don't test it every day because you'll drive yourself nuts unless you're having, like dizziness and energy problems or whatever. But yeah, I wouldn't worry about that. My opinion, I wouldn't worry about it unless it's really severe and you're actually having symptoms from it.
Yeah, I had the same experience with the CGM. Every night I would wake up because it would just go off. I was going below in the 3s. And I did ask about it and they said, well, how do you feel? I said, I feel fine. It's just that my machine keeps going off. And then if you're feeling fine, there's nothing to worry about. So I just, ditched that. And blood pressure is in hospital recently. It was always on the low side, but they were happy with that. Like I wasn't concerning. They just said, oh, you just must generally have low blood pressure. How do you feel? I was fine. I was getting up. I was walking around, not having any dizzy episodes. So I'm not worried about the numbers if I'm feeling good. But yeah, definitely speak to your doctor. And if you're feeling good, trust yourself as well.
For sure. All right.
Why I crave for sweets, what to do about it. I lost 35 pounds, but still have 75 pounds to go. I'm glad I found this community. I started November 24. Thank you for all the info. Thank you, Grandma Gigi. Well, eat meat when you're hungry, when you've got those cravings, bacon, eggs, just, don't turn to the carbs, don't do the sweets because they just make you crave more. Yep. Just keep feeding those cravings with meat and you'll eventually, I don't know, you change what do you say, your neural pathways or something, do you, Todd? That you don't. Yeah.
program.
Yeah. So, the thing is, this is a long conversation, and I'm going to make just a video on this because I love this topic so much. But because this is one of the big crux, right? Like what makes carnivore so different is that you can really break the chains to those sweet addictions. But first of all, you can't have any artificial sweeteners, and you can't have the hyperpalatable foods that are lighting up that part of your neurological pathway in your brain that's keeping the sweet hunger alive. And then you need a game plan to do that, because you can't just be like, well, I'm just going to white knuckle it. It doesn't work. And here's why it doesn't work. Because if you do anything for 7 minutes and 20 seconds a day on average, which if you like, I don't care what you want to do. If you want to make a new habit, create a new habit, you do it for 7 minutes and 20 seconds minimum every day for 21 days, and your brain will actually produce a new neurological pathway, like a new neurological circuit to that habit. And that's what starts to make that thing a habit. That's what becomes habit forming, is when I don't care what it is, whether you just think about it, whether you envision it in your head going through the processes of what it would be like, whether you're going through the motions physically of doing it, tasting it, smelling it, all these things. When whatever that habit is, I don't care if you want to create a habit of thinking, of praying, of meditating, of eating, of exercising, of walking, whatever, they say that you will build a new neurological pathway circuit to that habit if you give it your attention and energy for 7 minutes and 20 seconds a day for 21 days. Now, the reason why I say that is because we've all done that way longer than that with sugar and sweets, right? Well, there's a neurologist, I believe, on Michaela Peterson's channel the other day that said something really incredible to me. Anybody that's been watching this channel, and they asked how I got over the sugar cravings and how I got over the eating disorders and stuff, I said, I had to build this environment around me that made carnivore foods the path of least resistance. I had to make carnivore foods more accessible than Instacart or DoorDash to Pizza Hut, right? And then I had to make a game out of it, and I had to tell my brain to calm down the anxiety and panic that, look, you can have the sugar and the pizza and the soda and the bull crap, but first you have to eat bacon and eggs until you're stuffed. And the reason why I said that is because I knew from researching that I didn't have, when you're insulin resistant, you generally lose leptin sensitivity. Leptin sensitivity is your satiety hormone that quiets the noise that's trying to make you eat the junk, right? That's where the cravings come from. And if you eat until you're full, the stretch receptors in your stomach will shut off that noise, because you have two basic hunger switches to satiety in your brain or in your body. One of them is cued by leptin sensitivity, but when you're insulin resistant, you don't have that cue anymore. So you have to hit those stretch receptors in your stomach that will shut it off for you too. So when I made a deal with myself to eat bacon and eggs until I was stuffed, and I told myself, and then if I ate the bacon and eggs and if I waited an hour, then I could have the pizza if I still wanted it and the noise was still that loud. But every time I stuffed myself with bacon and eggs, that noise would shut down and I would live to fight to another meal. And then I'd repeat that process. Well, here's the reason why I said all that, and everybody's heard me say this before, but what I put together by listening to this neurologist on Michaela Peterson was that he said, why are some habits really hard to break? Why is it that we can know what to do and know the things that would change our life, but we just, no matter what, cannot seem to stop from doing these things? They seem to be bigger than us. They seem to have control over us. And one thing they said was, those neurological pathways that you spent the most time fostering and using over and over again, they get more myelination and they become the path of least resistance. They become the superhighway circuit in your brain to almost like a subconscious function that you're trying to overcome, right? So when you try to overcome sugar or sweet, things, but you're constantly trying to use artificial sweeteners as a bridge, you're constantly letting your mind go back to the sweet taste, which is keeping that neurological superhighway alive. Because the only way to get that circuitry to like be dissolved and go away finally, so that it's not beating you up, is to not activate it. You have to let it lie dormant. And so if you sit there and you go, I'm just not going to do it, I'm just going to use willpower, what do you end up doing? Even if you're not eating the artificial sweeteners, you're sitting there thinking about, don't eat sugar, don't have that feeling. If I had that, you are literally stimulating the crap out of that little superhighway, and you're keeping it alive. But when you eat carnivore foods and you stuff yourself, the beauty of it is you stop thinking about that. It shuts down the noise, so you don't have to pay attention to that neurohighway, and eventually it just stops. The noise stops. You get nourished and you eat. So this is why everybody has to not worry about overeating and gaining weight when you're first doing this. You need to get healthy first. You need to get nourished first, and you need to get free from addictions, and your signaling needs to get healthy first. And then once you're healthy and you're nourished and you have your signaling, then we can talk about how to refine it to point you in a direction where you want to go. But we have to take, and this is what your body's doing too. It's like we have fires to put out first, and we have healing to do first. And so I want to do a whole video on that, but that really is the difference. This is why me and Michael and Lindy are here now. This is why Lindy coined the phrase the off switch. This is what we're talking about. And near as I can tell, these are the correlations that I'm finding that brought it all together, that makes the most amount of sense, that seem to be the reality of it. And so all I could say is join the Steak and Butter Gang. I get nothing from telling you this, but it's where we can help you stop lighting up that circuitry so that you can get free from it. So come see us in Steak and Butter Gang.
So happy for you, Lindy. God is good. May he bless your future journey. Thank you, Sandra.
Amen to that.
I'm feeling really good.
That's
I
awesome.
feel fantastic.
Todd, it was negative 35 degrees Celsius, negative 31 in Alberta today.
Ooh,
Mark,
negative 31.
I feel your pain, man. It was between negative like 11 and negative like 28 here for 2 solid weeks, and I was so tired of it. And I went out here one day, and my car was buried in, like, I couldn't see my car. It was buried in 4 foot of snow. I was like, I know under that ginormous mound there's a Toyota Sienna, but I'm not getting to it this week. I feel you, Mark. I know. Mark, I got to tell you my favorite cold joke. I'm going to make it really quick. But have you heard this one where the little mama polar bear and dad polar bear have a little baby polar bear, and the baby polar bear goes to mom and says, Mom, are you sure I'm a polar bear, or am I a polar bear? And she said, yes, son, you're a polar bear. And then the polar bear goes to his dad and says, Dad, am I a polar bear? And Dad says, of course, son, you're a polar bear. And he goes, oh, really? And then goes back over to the kitchen, talks to mom, said, Mom, are you really sure I'm a polar bear? Because I don't feel like a polar bear. And she goes, yes, son, you're absolutely a polar bear. Go ask your father if you don't believe me. She goes, well, I just did. He goes to her father and says, Father, are you really, really sure I'm a polar bear? Because I really don't feel like a polar bear. He goes, absolutely, son, you are definitely a polar bear. Why do you keep asking me? He goes, because I'm freezing my ass off. That's how I have felt my whole life in Montana. I'm supposed to go, negative 20, that's not nothing. You should have seen it when it was negative 50, whatever. But I'll tell you what, negative 20, especially since I lost 320 pounds, sucks. Negative 20 sucks.
Hi, Doug. Lost 80 pounds, 3 months, losing weight too fast. Going carnivore has improved my blood work. Now all my meds have stopped except one blood pressure med taken as needed. Yay.
That's awesome, Doug.
Awesome. Yep. Congratulations. All right.
Will your cooking videos be members content?
So the special ones will, and what I'm going to do on all the cooking videos is the cooking videos will be members content first for the first 30 to 60 days. And then I'm going to release them to the public after the 30, 60 days. But then I'll have some members only exclusives in there, which I am getting ready to start doing that. I've got to make time, but I'm going to be getting on that.
Starting carnivore. Is it okay to have sliced jalapenos on ketovore carnivore?
All right.
As I said, the king here.
Exactly. As I sit here eating my body weight in pickled jalapenos, I'm going to tell you, first of all, you got to do what's right for you. But in my opinion, the power of carnivore is that it is an animal-based elimination diet so that you can run an N=1 experiment on yourself and you can get positive data on what the optimal diet for you specifically is. So that being said, if I was to do things, I would not have any of that stuff. I wouldn't have spices. I wouldn't have pickled jalapenos. I wouldn't have any of those things. Now it's different if you need them as a bridge to get to carnivore, to get to getting through the carb cravings, you know? So I'm not talking like the first 6 weeks, but your goal should be to get all those things and literally just be doing water, salt, and BBB&E, which is bacon, beef, butter, and eggs, or ruminant animals, pork, butter and eggs, and water, and salt, and get down to that for 90 days. And then start adding things back in one at a time to see what fights you on it. Today when I was doing a call in the open chat in SBG, I already threw it away. It's in the garbage. But I got a new bottle of hot sauce. And I had a big fat ribeye here that I was making everybody hungry with in the open chat today. And I was eating this big ribeye. It was like a 3-pounder, and I was eating my butter. But I did get a new hot sauce that was a vinegar-based jalapeno or habanero sauce. And I put one dab. It was the first time I ever tried it. So the first thing I did was put one dab on my cutting board. I dipped one piece of steak in it. I ate it. I loved the heat level. The heat level was perfect. But immediately I had an inflammation response. My nose swelled up, or, my nose plugged up, and I could feel that tissue right about here, feeling like you got a cold. My nose started running. And then I started having to clear my throat. So I knew immediately that I had an inflammation response to that hot sauce, and it went directly in the garbage. And that's how I've gone through many hot sauces, because I try many of them.
Did you check the ingredients to see what was in there that could have triggered it?
I mean, there was all sorts of little spices and stuff in there, but there wasn't any seed oils in there. There wasn't any nonsense. It was all straight up. It was like jalapenos, vinegar, salt, water, onion powder, all these different seasonings.
Natural flavoring.
There wasn't even a natural flavoring one in there, but whatever it was, I don't know if it was just the extra capsaicin or if it was that there was more oxalates in it. Whatever was just set me off immediately. So it went in the garbage. I'm fine with that. It took 20 minutes for it to clear up, and that's what happened because I had the most minuscule, just tiny little bit of it. And then it went away, and everybody in the open chat had to listen to me clear my throat and blow my nose for about 10 minutes. But then it went away, and now I know that that's off the list because I'm not going to put up with any inflammation, and there's too many like Tabasco and Cholulas and stuff that I can have without having any problem at all. So I just do that, and that's the way I found out. To get back to your question, sorry for taking this long. The question is, or the answer in my case is that once I did the BBB&E and I went a long time, I started reintroducing things, found out there's lots of things I can't have, like even black peppers off the table. But I did find out that jalapenos on their own I can't have. If I slice up a fresh jalapeno, it'll tear me up. But pickled jalapenos, because the pickling process seems to pull out the oxalates and the plant poisons, those I can have. So now that those don't have any negative side effects to me, I use them as a condiment, and I use them all the time and everything. So sorry for the long answer, but. Oh, that's awesome. I'm glad we're helping you. So
you're welcome. I still learn every day. 3 years in, and there's always something new to learn.
That's why carnivore communities really are awesome. SBG is amazing because we're all learning, right? We are on the frontier of this way of eating, right? And we're all learning all the nuances, which of that there are so many, but we're all able to first of all, there's no biases here. Nobody gives nobody's making money off. Well, there's some charlatans trying to make money off it, but nobody's really making, nobody's got ulterior motives here. Everybody's just trying to save their own health and their lives a lot of times. And so it's bringing the truth and the things that actually make a difference to the top, which has been incredibly helpful in the carnivore communities.
I am confident that I can do carnivore until I reach a more normal weight. I'm just not confident yet that I won't want to have a non-carnivore food sometimes after that. Afraid of binging again. Yeah.
Man,
The
that's
fear is always there. For me,
Yeah.
it is anyway. I feel the same. I just want to stay strict and abstain from those foods because I find it's very easy for me to spiral. Those comfort food, and I've used food for celebrating, for comfort forever, and it's definitely a hard habit to break. So that's why I like to abstain.
She has a follow-up here too.
I'm only 46 days in, so hoping that sometimes this year I will gain the confidence that this way of eating is right. Yeah.
Yeah, and just from my perspective, I know somewhere in the middle lies probably the average, the truth and averages there. But part of me that, look, almost everybody that goes from the standard American diet that's going to carnivore, the first thing, there's like a couple of things that they're really worried about going in. One of them is obviously all the fear mongering about cholesterol and plaquing and, meat being bad for you and all this stuff that we've all been like beat to death with. But once you get over that, the other major one is people worry about the restriction of it all. And what you're not going to recognize just yet, but you will as you go through here, and the more free you get from this is, yes, it's true that hyperpalatable standard American diet foods will always be hyperpalatable, highly addictive standard American diet foods. So there's always that danger out there, which for me just gives me more of a straight mindset of why I'm not going to touch it, because they're too dangerous, and I know where it takes me, and I know what it costs, and the reward, there's not enough reward there for the high price that costs. But what you do find out is that there's a difference between hunger and craving, and the craving parts come from addiction, and the hunger parts come from a need to nourish and fuel our bodies, right? So the hunger comes from our body's real signaling mechanisms that we need to nurture and heal and be able to recognize and listen to better. But most of us can't hear that because our hormones are getting screwed up from the bad diet, and also because we have addictions. And the more that we break down those circuits in our mind, this is how I look at it, and quiet that noise, the less the word restriction means anything. Because right now, I eat like 99% of the time I eat like 5 things, but they taste fantastic every time I eat them. And even better than them tasting fantastic is that I feel fantastic. I feel healthy and strong and energized. And then I realized that what was restrictive was being sick and dying and not being able to breathe and not being able to get out of a chair and losing everything for this illusion of variety in food. That was what was restrictive. Eating meat, what was that saying that addiction is giving up everything for one thing and recovery is giving up one thing for everything? That's what I think is real. And you can't always see it coming into this thing because you don't know yet what it's like to have Lindy's off switch. We have a new member.
Yay, congratulations.
Thank you, Carnivore Camper. That's LaDonna. Great to see you.
Hi, Amber. Thank you. Nice to see you too. I've missed everybody, so so good to be back.
It's awesome.
I get the oxalate pain. It jumps from wrist to ankle to elbow. Sure is annoying. Just get over one and start another. So you've just had oxalates as well, haven't you? With your arm?
Good Lord.
Yeah.
Yeah, so oxalates, they're not my friend. Well, here, I haven't drank that much today, but this is a green tea, decaf green tea. And this has been my oxalate therapy for like the last, I don't know, 3 or 4 weeks now. Because I didn't know oxalate dumping could suck so much. The joint pain was unreal. And luckily, Alyssa and the Steak and Butter Gang told me to try having a little bit of oxalates because it slows it down. And that actually really worked. And it was the key for me because this is my 3rd time oxalate dumping. The first 2 were child's play. And I thought, man, no problem. I got this down. This last oxalate dumping, boy, was it serious. Like it went from passing 3 kidney stones to bleeding from my navel to having my knee so swelled up I couldn't freaking walk on it to like 2 weeks of absolutely ridiculous pulsing nerve pain from my elbow to this finger on this right hand to then going to like skin rashes and those little oxalate crystals coming out of my pores. And then that right now, the last one, it settled in my left hip and it's been pinching this nerve that's locking up my lower left back, my left hip and my left thigh every time I lay down, and it hasn't let me sleep in weeks now, but it's almost gone. Finally, I'm doing the Sally K. Norton. Is that what it is? Toxic superfoods protocol. And I'm taking some of the calcium. I'm putting a little bit of citrus in this green tea now because it's supposed to bind the oxalates and actually get them out of your body so they don't keep just going from tissue to tissue and joint to joint and lighten your butt up. So it's been pretty crazy. But yeah.
GLB wants to know what brand of green tea you're drinking.
I don't know. Have no clue. This one came from City Brew Coffee because I don't have tea. I don't keep it on hand, and so I only order it when the pain flares up, and then DoorDash brings it to me. So I don't know which one to drink. I just get a decaf green tea, and I do it iced. So because I don't like hot drinks. So yeah. That's all.
Moody's ice cream for us in Florida.
That sounds delicious. I'd love to know how that. Well, maybe we'll get to try it. Dr. Kiltz is going to be at the 4th of July meetup, so maybe he'll make us some Kiltz cream. Oh, well, thank you so much, Tim. Tim's pumping up the numbers for us. Thank you, Tim. Do any of you have reactions to cured meats, even the healthy uncured? Today I ate bacon with nitrates and also lots of cheese, and my anxiety has been up. I have noticed this not as severe. So yeah, I mean, that is a thing for a lot of people, and I just don't even like too much pork at all. Pretty much lately, the only pork that I eat is bacon, but I only eat it in small doses with other things. Like I don't just eat bacon anymore. Like I'll eat it in a 20% mixture with beef, or I'll eat it in a power bowl. So I'll mix it with ribeye or a New York strip steak. So I make power bowls and I chop up New York strip steak chunks and I grind up ground beef. And then I also chop up bacon. I cook that all up and then I put it in like a scrambled egg bowl and I make little power bowls out of them. And so, but I pretty much never eat bacon alone without, so it's kind of, I'm almost using bacon as a condiment, if you will, for just a little bit of bacon flavor because I just don't feel great when I eat bacon. So how about you guys?
Yeah, I'm the same. I stay away from pork. It makes me feel really ill. And bacon as well. I did buy some from Butcher. He makes it himself and there's no preservatives. That is to die for. Then if I buy it from like Safeways, Woolies, whatever, I feel sick. Like it just doesn't agree with me. I get indigestion. So it's obviously something in it that's not optimal for me. Michael?
I don't have it that often. I had a little bit of bacon today. I keep it chopped up in my freezer, and then I'll throw it in when I'm frying some meat for just for a little bit of flavor. But yeah, I try not. I really cut back on the bacon.
Yeah,
and the pork.
Yeah, for sure. And one of the things too, since I started dry fasting, I stopped using salt. I stopped drinking so much. Now all the bacon tastes too salty to me too. Is the other thing that happened. Because salt cured,
Hi, Heidi. As today, I also notice I get leg pain and low back pain. I'm thinking it's oxalate related. I haven't seen evidence of uncured meats being high in oxalates. I have seen. Yeah.
Well, I don't think uncured. So oxalate, no, there's no oxalates in uncured meats. Like, we got to be kind of careful with the oxalate term because it's becoming a catch-all for ick. Like,
Yeah.
So there's like detoxing in your body detoxes a lot of things. And I agree. And I totally understand why this is happening, because what we really mean is, I don't know, our body's fighting some crap that we put in and it's pushing it out and it's causing problems. That's what we really mean. But specifically, there's detoxes, there's histamine responses. But one of the things where you can tell, which is why Alyssa suggested that I do this green tea, one of the things that you can kind of suss out, specifically oxalate dumping, is if you have a tiny bit of oxalates and it goes away, because it stops your body from freaking out and producing too many oxalates or something. And so I don't know all the science behind it, but it will calm it down if it's an oxalate dumping. If it's just like a detox or whatever, or if it's a histamine reaction, or if it's just something to the, what'd you say? To the uncured meats, you're not going to have, it's not going to make a difference, right? If that's what it is, the green tea is not going to make a difference. So, yeah, but uncured meats are not going to cause an oxalate problem that I know of, because oxalates come from plants exclusively. So.
Mm-hmm. Especially once Healing Humanity comes out and people get to hear the real life stories without agendas, like most documentaries. Yeah, it'll be exciting when that comes out. So.
Yeah, it's going to be awesome.
Forward to seeing it. Yeah,
can't wait.
I just hope I can come to Wisconsin and watch it in Kerry's theater. I think that would be awesome.
For sure. Well, we'll make that a thing for sure. That's awesome. No, we all can't wait. Shout out to Carrie and Adam and those folks over there, and Ashley and Brett and everybody, and Lynn, everybody on the H&H team. It's doing fantastic. I can't wait till it comes out. It's going to be so much fun.
Yeah, I don't want to miss that one. It'd be awesome. Nice to have others that understand food noise. My family friends never understood when I tried to explain this.
For sure.
They don't want to know. Like, yeah.
Well, yeah, go ahead.
No, I'm going to not say anything because that person might watch.
Okay. So, yeah, because the reason why, like, what we all have to understand is, here's the common thing that happens on carnivore. It's like we live our life. I'm just going to use mine as an example, right? People knew me all my life from the time I was 14, and I was a 600-pound 14-year-old and fighting all this stuff. And you could see the worry on people's eyes when I would talk to them, and they'd see it, because you look like dead man walking, and everybody's trying to kind of help you, whatever. But pretty much everybody's just like, yeah, you're just going to be that big, and you have that problem, and you're probably just going to die young. You can see it on their face, and then you lose the weight eating meat, and you think, being that you could see the genuine worry on a lot of people's faces, and I'm not talking about my family. My family's all 100% on board, and most of them are carnivores now and totally supportive. But I'm just saying the general, and even my friends are too, but the general, acquaintances and people, that would be the case. And then you lose all the weight, and the first thing they say is, what did you do? And if you say carnivore, they immediately are worried for your health all of a sudden. And it's just like, and then, so I really started trying to figure this out, because how? And part of it is the propaganda, because they've all been told that meat is more dangerous than, whatever, cyanide, or I don't know, just everything, right? And they've heard all this stupid crap because it's been just pumped into us. But also part of it is because what carnivore represents is the opposite of addiction. And all of our old friends that are still eating sugar and drinking caffeine and energy drinks and having their beers and all that stuff, they are all addicts. And when you're sick and dying, but you're not shaking somebody's worldview that is threatening their addiction, that's not too upsetting to them. But if you do something that has really impactful results to make you healthy, but it threatens the status quo of addiction, people have a pretty severe reaction to that, because you are now possibly making a strong case for them having to make some life changes that they don't want to address either, you know? And so they are coming up with all these reasons, and it's kind of funny to watch now. I just started really realizing that. And that's why I was like, you know, when you start talking to those people and they start seeing the results, they say funny things like, I could never give up, and then X, Y, and Z put whatever their vices in that category, you know? But I started realizing, you know, once you're once you're away from addiction and your mind's a little clear, you're not in the fog of it all, you start understanding how you can totally spot the addictive nature and the addictive habits and these addictive compulsions that people have, because they would say, I would never give that up. And I was just like, you know, if you started putting that in any other terminology, like, I could never not wear my favorite tennis shoes, or I could never not drive my favorite car, or I could never not use my favorite cup, or I could never not, you know, use my favorite hair gel. Nobody would ever say something like that, you know, especially if it meant the difference of weighing 600 pounds and not weighing 600 pounds. Nobody would ever say something like that. But we say it all the time when it comes to things that we ingest. And the reason why nobody hardly bats an eye to that is because everybody can relate to having a thing that they could never give up because of X, Y, and Z, because they have successfully turned our food environment into a bunch of addictive drugs. And so everybody at some level absolutely can relate to what it's like to be addicted to food. Like, on some level, whether you don't have the extreme effects from it that we have had or not, everybody's addicted to it at some level. I mean, it's really interesting to watch from that kind of lens, you know?
Me, wife, and kids are flying to Bozeman on July 1st, at Yellowstone for 3 days, then at your place for the 4th. Can't wait. I think he's just left as well, but yeah,
he
1st
just
of
did,
July
yeah.
is my birthday.
Oh, that's awesome. Well, this is going to be a fantastic. We're going to have so much fun. It is going to be, it's going to be a hoot.
You have to pop some fireworks up for my birthday.
I will. We will light it
Really
up.
high so I can see from here.
We'll get them. We're going to figure that out. You know, it's just like anything else, right? Like, when you get into carnivore and you join the carnivore communities, then you start learning carnivore. When you buy a smoker and you start hanging out where, well, that sounds funny. You start hanging out where the smokers, like when you buy a smoking pellet grill, and then you start buying, you go into the stores that sell all the smoking stuff, you make smoking buddies, you know, that want to talk about what they smoke and what they do. And you end up in that community of people. And then you start realizing it, you know, that, I mean, there's, in everything you do, there seems to be a vein of hobbyists, right, to become experts in doing that thing. And because I have an extreme personality and an addictive personality, I don't have any middle of the road on anything. I don't moderate anything. So I'm either completely off or I'm 120% into this thing, you know? So
just like you're driving.
Easy, sir. So I'm either going to not do anything, or I'm going to go to bed thinking about how to smoke things, basically, is how that works. Because it's just, I don't know. I know that in this addictive community, there has to be plenty of people whose brains work like that, where you're just, you can't moderate anything. So you're obsessed by it.
And for somebody who can't cook, I absolutely love my smoker. Like, you know, I never thought I would own one because I just don't do stuff like that. But it's been a game changer for us. Every weekend we put something big in there, and that lasts us for a week. We have food for days. It's awesome. Best thing we've done. Yeah.
For sure.
Thanks, Todd. Yes, my brain is extremely stressed due to brain injury, same as what Jordan Peterson went through. So there's no ability to relax. Thanks again.
That's awesome. Well, we'd love to try to help you any way we can. I think that stuff can heal. I think it takes time, but I think it can heal or at least greatly improve. So definitely keep us up to date on that. We'd love to help you through it. JP is the man, by the way.
Is the person who is drinking 6 liters a day using any salt? Are they taking any electrolytes? Remember when you were drinking a ton of water, you became potassium depleted.
Yeah, for sure. I haven't seen any follow-ups in the chat yet, but we kind of asked that and went through it too. So hopefully they'll get back to us or come visit us in SBG so we can get more information and kind of help them through it. So.
I need to join SPGs. I cannot seem to stay on plan. I think I need that community instead of being a lone wolf.
Oh, for sure.
Is there a link in the description? I can't remember.
I've posted it.
Okay. Yeah. Come and see us. Like literally, I don't get a penny from being there, but we love it so much because, listen, I know that as dudes, we're like, you think, I did. All right, I'm just going to out myself here. But I thought all support groups were a bunch of mamby-pamby, crying around, whatever. And I was like, I'm way too cool for that, right? And then I was like, well, except for I'm 700 pounds and all my life decisions up to this point, I have not exactly been panning out real well. And maybe I'm a little too egotistical and a little too judgmental, and maybe I need to get over myself and go and find some people to hang out with that are better at this than I am. And Lindy talked me into that, and I went over there, and I'm not exaggerating one bit. Within the first meeting that we went to, all this information came in from all the people saying, oh yeah, this happened, that happened. Oh, you got to do this, you got to do that. And it was just like puzzle pieces were falling into all of these missing holes that I had not understanding. And I was having all these issues and problems. And in one meeting, like 30% of them just got filled up. And then I just immediately realized that, of course, these are all people that are like me that are here because they're sick. And they had to, the pills didn't work, the doctors didn't work, the diets didn't work. So they're here and they're trying this really extreme thing that I'm trying to because they came to it for the same reasons that I came to it. And now this is a really honest group of people that are really motivated to try to save their lives and heal. And now we can put our heads together and share data so that we can widen our bandwidth of data so that we can get to the solution quicker. And what an idiot I've been for not being in there. And not to mention, so that was what that first day I was just thinking about it analytically. And now, in addition to that, it's really good to have people to be accountable to. And it's really good that when people say, are you doing good? Are you staying the course? Do you need me to slap you in the forehead a little bit and get you back on track? Michael's got it locked.
I'll slap you.
Yeah, Michael already went and blocked out a year's worth of calendar dates for that.
I am setting it now, man.
Right.
I'm putting it in there. Got to get the Todd, slap him in the head. Huh?
Exactly. But yeah, so it's absolutely, I think it's a necessity. And of course it's a necessity. I mean, look where we came from, right? One of the biggest natural, things that happens to all societies and humans is tribalism, right? I mean, it's why, my dad told me when you go to war, you get in the military for a lot of reasons, but by the time you end up fighting, you're only fighting for one reason, and that's to your brothers to the left and to the right of you, because nothing matters more to you than your tribe that you're in, to the people that are on your left and right. That's all you're fighting for. There's nothing else. And so when I realized that, it's good to have a tribe that you're fighting with, because that helps me, because there's a lot of people, you guys are watching me. And I know that maybe not all of you, but if I wander off and go in the ditch here, wander off course, get complacent, get stupid, get cocky, if I do any of those things and I completely spin out, that could have an effect on other people, right? And so that's bad for the people, for my brothers and sisters to the left and right. So I don't want to do that, and that keeps me. I'm not saying that I won't. I'm not saying that I can't. I'm just saying it gives me a heck of a lot more fight to try not to, And so just the more of those things that I can keep on the front of my brain, the weaker all the reasons to fall into the trap get, right? That noise is just that enemy is just so much smaller when there's so much more to fight for. What do you guys think?
Michael?
I'm reading something. Go ahead.
Sorry, I was too.
Okay, no, we'll move on.
Todd throws us on the spot.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. As I was talking about my brothers to the left and right.
When you go on a rant like that, I kind of zone out a little bit.
I know. I don't blame you. I don't blame
forgot.
you.
I forgot what the question was.
That was a short rant too, by the way. That wasn't even a long
Not
rant.
after like the 15th one of the night.
How else do you expect us to get through a 3-hour live
teasing
stream?
you. I'm
I'm
teasing.
still
I was reading some comments.
I'm giving you a double titty twister when I meet you for the first time, just for tonight. I'm marking it on my calendar and I'm putting it in.
Can't wait.
It's happening. It's happening. All right. Question. I'm 180 pounds overweight, but I'm able to go for longish walks. Giving that, would there be any benefits to a rebounder that just walking would not help? Yes, I believe there is, for sure. First of all, you're 180 pounds overweight, and that's hard on your joints. I'm not saying you can't do it, but a lot of walking is hard on your joints. And two, you're using a rebounder to really put the emphasis on your calf muscles, because your calf muscles are the pump, they're basically the pump for your lymphatic system. So specifically, rebounders are good for circulation, but mostly for lymphatic system. So if you have any kind of fluid retention, edema, if your legs swell and that stuff, the rebounder is definitely the way to go. And the lymphatic system is really important for mobilizing fat. So,
and I believe the NASA did a study that 5 minutes of rebounding is equivalent to 20 minutes walking. I'll take that.
And since we got her message up here, I just want to bring this up here and have you guys address this.
I thought my husband would be supportive, but he said that he thinks that carnivore is extreme and he's under the impression that info I share with him is from an echo chamber cult-like. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, compared to what? So listen, let's compare the two echo chambers. You have the standard American diet echo chamber that says everything that the commercials tell you that is, basically that's being shoved down our face and advertised. And then you have, the so-called experts information, right? And you have that. Well, that's all that stuff. Everything that the doctors are pushing, everything that, the standard American doctors are pushing, and everything that the commercials are pushing, and everything that all the experts and the dietitians are pushing, it's only been around about 100 years, maybe 100 and whatever years, right? It's relatively new to our species. Before that, what we survived on was exactly the way we're eating now. And I mean, yes, there was a little bit of berries here and there, but they didn't have
nothing in boxes.
Foods. Yeah, they didn't have a whole foods.
Nothing processed.
Where they could get every fruit and every vegetable. It was all seasonal.
365 days a year. Yeah.
Right. It was seasonal and geologically, for their environment, and it was very small. But it was the meat. It was the meat and fat. So there has been no greater studies that have ever been done than on meat, than on carnivores, right? And that's how we got here. And so, in addition to that, since this standard American diet cult and echo chamber and bubble has had the football, 74% of our population has become sick, fat, obese, and is dying. And yes, we extended the life expectancy, but it had nothing to do with what we did with food. It had everything to do with antibiotics, with running water, with temperature controlled buildings, getting out of the elements and out of exposure, and having running water so that people didn't die of infections and exposure and stuff. as far as our diet goes, the last 2 years, our life expectancy has been going down for the first time ever in our existence as a species, because we've screwed up our food environment. So if the doctors and the experts so have the answer, then why is the leading cause of death for cardiologists heart disease? That's like having a mechanic that can't get to work because his car never runs, right? It's stupid. If you just back up and you look past the propaganda, you can see where the bullshit lies, and it ain't carnivore. This is how we got here. This is how our species persisted this entire time. That's our proper human diet.
Yeah. Now, you've said you've got 180 pounds to lose. You're doing the walking. You want thinking about a rebound. You're doing all the right things, but your husband's not supportive of carnivore. This is your journey, and luckily for him, he might be one of those that can get away with eating a diet and he doesn't have the addiction. Well, good luck to him, but this is your journey. And if you've tried everything else, this is what you need to do. He should be supportive of that. And maybe, joining the Steak and Butter Gang would be great. They do have a free forum. You don't have to join the actual challenges, and just talk with people in there. There's so many people that you can just, bump heads with, compare notes, get some, recipes, inspiration, motivation, just to help keep you on track. And I think having your tribe around you, because you don't have it in the real world, does help. And that's what's kept me on track and still keeps me on track today, is having that supportive network. If not for these guys and, my family at SBG, I would have fallen off so many times. But I don't want to let anybody down, because sometimes, I don't put myself on that pedestal and think I need to do this for me. I do get into my little, pity parties and think, oh, it's all too hard. And the community keeps me on track. So I do think support in that way. And maybe just don't talk to your husband. He will see the changes. He'll see the new you, see that you're thriving, and he'll come round. But don't, if he's not interested and thinks it's cultish, just zip it up and talk to your community, the people that, are on this together.
And Amada was probably sitting there going, bonus, don't talk to your husband.
Oh, yeah. My husband's not carnivore either. He's really good at home when I'm here, but as soon as I'm out of the house or when he goes off to work, he likes his little treats. And, I'd love him to be full carnivore, but I can't. This is my journey. I have to be strict because I can fall off easily. I mean, he's a big boy. He's got to make his own decisions, and I can't tell him what to do. So if you're watching, honey, I'm sorry. I love you. He did bring me some cheese. That's what I'm nibbling on right now. So he's good. What is the blood sugar range for carnivores?
I really don't know. That's a good question. I don't know that there is a specific range yet. I just know, well, I don't even want to say, because I'm so bad at knowing those ranges. Because, look, I just stopped caring. That goes for my cholesterol levels. That goes for all that crap. I would not be here today had I not gone carnivore. And so I'm not going to get lost in the logistics of numbers that I don't think that matter. Our ancestors didn't measure numbers. They ate off of natural signaling and cues. And so if I have negative things, I just try to cure it with my diet, and I don't work with the rest. My question to you would be, and this is a good question, I'm just not going to answer because I don't know, so I can't answer it. But my question to you would be, is do you only care because the number came up low, or do you care because you're having symptoms and side effects?
Yeah. Hey, you three. Good to see you all together. Yes, miss being here.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thanks for coming.
The gang is back into the what is it? The band is back together.
Any eyesight improvement on carnivore?
For sure. You guys want to go first?
I couldn't read the TV at all. Everything looked like it was in a foreign language, and now I can read, not a problem. I only use the glasses for up close computer work. That's it. Otherwise, I see fine. Yeah, definitely improvement there for me.
Yeah.
Well, Todd's got the big story there.
Yeah.
I was trying to think of what day. So I was 4 months carnivore when I went and got glasses because I couldn't see anymore. And the reason why, well, I couldn't see. So my other glasses broke and they're pieces of crap and my eyes were bad. But I was too sick to get to the optometrist to get glasses. Well, when I got to 4 months on carnivore, I was healthy enough that I could get out of the house and get to the optometrist. So I got glasses. And I was like, perfect. So that was 4 months into carnivore. 7 months. Yeah, that right there. 7 months later, I went, and that's where this email came from. 7 months later, I went because I thought my eyes were getting worse because I couldn't see crap and I had just gotten brand new glasses and I was really bummed because I thought carnivore was hurting my eyes or something. So I went back to my optometrist just 7 months after getting brand new prescription, brand new glasses. And I saw my optometrist and he was like, he goes, were you just here 7 months ago? And I'm like, yep, I was. He goes, and you got glasses, right? And I'm like, yep. And he's like, you saw Dr. So-and-so. And I'm like, yep, I did. And he goes, well, he goes, I'm doing this exam. And he goes, when I look back at your file from 7 months ago, the imaging of your eyes from 7 months ago, looks like I'm looking at two different patients now. He goes, this is nuts. He goes, you have absolutely no diabetic retinal edema. He said, both your eyes have, because they did the little test. He said, both your eyes have healed up over 3 full points of stigmatism in each eye. And he said, your blood vessels have thickened. You no longer have thinning blood vessels. In fact, they're healthy. So the blood vessels completely healed to normal. I had no diabetic retinal edema in my retinas anymore. And for the first time in my life, my eyesight is good enough and my stigmatism is healed enough that I can actually wear contacts if I want to, or get LASIK surgery, which that was never an option before. I could never get LASIK before because the inflammation in my eyes was so bad that my eyes were too thin. They were worried that they would hemorrhage, that my retinas would hemorrhage if they gave me LASIK. And the misshapen of my stigmatism was too extreme for contacts, and I couldn't have either. 7 months into it, I could have both for the first time in my life. So it was crazy. They gave me a new prescription. I see better now than ever, except for that was 11. Let's see, that was 13 months into it. So it's been about 13 months since then. I need new glasses again because just as he said, I told my optometrist, that I was on carnivore, that I'd lost a bunch of weight, that I was doing this. And he said, well, then don't get any LASIKs and don't get any contacts yet because you're going through a huge metabolic change and they might change again. I think they have in the last 13 months because I don't see as good out of these glasses as I did when I first got them. So I'm assuming that my stigmatism has healed even more. So now I got to go back in and renew my prescription because I think my prescription's still off now just from 13 months ago. So that is how that goes. And that email was from my optometrist because I was like, I have a YouTube channel and the carnivores would love to know, can you send me an email? And that's why he sent me that email. So for whatever that's worth to y'all.
It's awesome. Hi, Mary. What's reason to use Rebound? I'm 76 now and have some back issues, not overweight now. Carnivore to heal neuropathy. I just use it for my lymphatic system. I have lymphedema, just a bit of movement as well. And like I said earlier, 5 minutes of rebounding is equivalent of 20 minutes of walking. So it gives me 15 extra minutes in my day. So, yeah.
Yeah,
I love my rebounder.
I'm going to ditto everything that Lindy just said and also add that it's easier on your joints than walking on hard concrete when you're a big fella, or a big gal. So also take it easy on your joints, that I like that because it's so low impact. You're not sitting here like jumping off the ground. Like your feet aren't even leaving it. You're literally just doing this bounce from heel to toe. And if you think it's easy, try it and tell me you're not panting like a fat kid. Man, whew, it gets me.
My husband, yeah, he jumped on it. He's like, oh, this is easy. He was jumping like for about 20 bounces and he goes, oh, my calves are killing me. This is harder than it looks. Yeah, you didn't think it was, but yeah,
for sure.
that's pretty good.
Pookie Roo says, is ketchup a no-go? The short is yes, ketchup is a no-go. So the reason why is because it's full of sugar, and even if you get the low-carb ones, it's full of nastiness. And even if you were to find one that was completely sugar-free, it still has carbs in it because it's tomato fruit, and tomatoes are a nightshade, and nightshades have some of the highest oxalates. So all the way around, ketchup is one of the worst things, one of the real offenders for condiments, for sure. We still have 27 comments ahead, and I don't think we marked them all, and we're running down the last 45 minutes, so we're going to do a little bit of a lightning round. If I have bacon and eggs, is a dollop of ketchup a big? I would say no. On that one, I would say you should not do that.
I'd switch to a hot sauce or something and get rid of the ketchup.
Switch
I
to
like
a
the
hot sauce. Yep. And mustard's fine too. You can do a mustard if you want. But yeah, get rid of the ketchup.
Yep.
Once you get your weight off or health level, how do you maintain your weight?
We haven't got there yet, but I'm not going to be focusing on numbers. I'm just going to be focusing on how I feel. So yeah, the scale's not I'm not going to be concentrating on the number on the scale. I don't want to know.
Maintain your weight. That's not my job. My job's not to maintain my weight. That's my body's job. My job is going to be to eat what my body wants when it wants it. As far, unless it's saying pizza, then I know something's went awry. But as long as it's saying, carnivore foods, and I'm actually I'm listening to hunger cues and not cravings, then I'm just going to listen to my body, and I'm sure that it'll keep us at, it'll keep me at the weight that's optimal for me, whether I know it or not,
I'm benefiting greatly from a cup of green tea to listen to the oxalates coming out of my eyes. Thank you so much.
That's awesome. Yep. And this again, I would not know that information at all unless I was an SBG, and Alyssa in SBG was like, hey, because it's just super handy. And that's what I'm saying. Every time, like 90% of the time, there's an answer in there, like within minutes of having an issue, because somebody went through it. And like the other 10% of the time, the other 8% of the 10% of the time, we figure it out in a short period of trying. Somebody can give you at least a direction to go in. It's really handy.
I was restricted to my recliner before carnivore way of eating. Look at you now, Tim, out there and shoveling snow and you're amazing.
Causing problems. So.
Tim's rocking it.
Just keep eating the proper human diet. Your body will reach a point where you won't lose anymore. It's pretty simple. Yeah. And I know people hate this, but trust the process.
I have patience. It takes time.
For sure. Vitamin P.
Right.
Vitamin P, patience.
There's no rush.
Yep. And don't let the scale game get in your head.
No.
Yeah. Lindy, it's so lovely to see you. Glad to see you healing and feeling well enough to make it tonight. Hello, Todd and Michael. It's always great to see and hear you both as well. Yes.
Thanks so much.
3 amigos are back. Todd and Lindy, when you were first well enough to go out into the world, what did you do and how was it?
I'll let you go first.
Oh, no, went to my daughter's house. She's got a bit of a difficult driveway to navigate to get into her front doorstep. So, I had to get them to move their car and all that so I can actually get down there. But going to my daughter's house was a big deal for me. Going to her shop as well. I try to get there as much as I could, but there's stairs to navigate there as well. But they're the things that make me happy, just being with family. Yeah, but I didn't go out a lot. Now I do. I'm actually enjoying going out and seeing things, seeing places. So, having a lot more fun now.
Well, technically, the first thing I did was went out and got glasses. That was the first time I really went out, was when I got glasses. But
driver license.
Yeah, then the second one was when I got my driver's license. My sister took me to get glasses. Then I got healthy and I got my driver's license back. And then when I got my driver's license back, then I went to Costco and I shopped in Costco and I panted like a fat kid. I remember because I came back and I was like, I don't know if I'm up for all this, man. I'm tired because I did a lot of walking in Costco and I was fairly sore and tired and panting. But then that lit me up because I'm like, well, then this is exactly what I need to do. Because like Jordan Peterson says, he goes, if you sit on the edge of your bed and say a prayer and ask yourself, what incredibly stupid thing are you doing that you could not do? If you actually put your mind to it, that would make a difference. What would it be? And I decided that was going out at least once a week and going to Costco to get my own stuff, to get some movement in and get re-simulated with the surroundings. That worked so well that in a short period of time later, I found myself on an airplane in Austin, Texas, meeting Lindy and the gang at Hack Your Health. It was crazy.
Yeah.
For sure. All right.
It's Todd's fault I started eating ribeye last week.
That's awesome, man. I mean, I know, and it's a look, it's cheaper than crack, right? so that's all I can say is it is a new addiction, but it's cheaper than crack, and boy, is it awesome. And you will save, like, you'll save by eating ribeyes. It'll give you that off switch, and then you'll stop eating any of the other nonsense. You'll get healthier, you get off medications, and it'll pay you back tenfold.
But you won't be eating 3 meals a day, eating ribeye as well, because you just won't be hungry.
For sure. Eventually, for sure.
Pork belly is better for me than processed bacon.
100% agree.
Why doesn't anyone talk about pork ribs? I find it super affordable. I used to eat pork ribs like towards the start of my journey, but now pork just doesn't seem to do too well with me. I find it makes me a bit nauseous. So I don't know if it's like the type of pork that I was getting from a different shop or what it is that's making me feel unwell, but it just doesn't appeal to me anymore. All pork.
Ribs. I feel about ribs the same way I feel about crab. When I got married, my wife was from Maryland, and I went to Maryland, and their big deal there in Maryland is blue crab, soft shell blue crab. So when I was in Maryland, I'm not a seafood person because I grew up and I'm from the mountains, and we have, trout and freshwater fish, but we don't do seafood here. And I don't know, they all pumped it up, and I felt pretty bad because I was not enjoying their tradition of blue soft shell crab, because when I got there, we got all this crab, and I was breaking up all this crab, and it's all covered in Old Bay, and the shells are cutting my fingers when I'm getting into it, and the Old Bay's getting into these little paper cuts and burning the crap out of my paper cuts and all this stuff, and I feel like I'm gutting a barn spider the whole time that I'm opening this thing up. And then when you're finally done, you get this little tiny bit of meat. You go, and that's over.
It's not worth it.
No, and so you got this big mess. I'm covered from crap head to toe. I've got all this Old Bay seasoning and all these cuts, and all my fingers are burning. And then I rub my eye, and my eye hurts, and I'm sitting there going, this whole thing is a nightmare. And once you're done, I just feel like it's an oversized barn spider with a really hard shell, and I'm sitting here opening it up to get these little stringy pieces of kind of sweet, kind of whatever meat. And I'm taking it out, and I'm like, holy shit. I mean, it was a mess. It was an absolute mess. There's crap everywhere. It looked like an exterminator just went to town on some space age bugs everywhere on our table, and there was salt and crap everywhere. And I feel the same way about ribs. It's like not that bad, but there's just not enough meat on them to go cutting them up and cooking them and peeling the silver skin off and doing all this stuff. And then you get this little bit of meat between the pork ribs, because I'm looking to get like 2 or 3 pounds of meat in, and I need a lot of racks of ribs.
Yeah.
There's a lot of work to get all the meat off. So that's why I don't talk about ribs. If I do, I got to stop doing that. Anyways, if I eat ribs, I like the beef short ribs, because at least they have bigger chunks of meat on it, Right. So that's why I talk about it.
And the flanking ribs.
Flanking ribs are really good too. Yeah.
I can't get them here. My butcher won't do them for me.
No.
Nope.
Now,
I keep asking. I want flank and ribs. We don't do them here.
well, and I can hear everybody in the chat going, "You're complaining about pork ribs and you're eating flanken ribs because there's even less meat on flanken ribs than there's on pork ribs." However, when you cook them for a long time in a slow pot, you can eat the bones. So you just go hump, 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 and you can eat the whole dang thing.
Not do, but hump, hump, hump.
I'm just saying, you don't have to sit there and pick around the bones and eat all this little tiny stuff. You can you can actually eat the bones. So, and I do, and I enjoy them. So, just so's and you know.
Oh, I'm going to take you to my butcher when you come to visit. You can tell him, I want flank and ribs. So bring your gun.
I'm in for it.
I guess Woolies has flank and ribs. Is that a place by you, Lindy?
We do have Woolies here, but I've never seen them. I might ask them. But yeah, my local butcher asked him when after hospital, I want flank and ribs. No, we don't do them.
That's awesome.
Never seen them.
I could be wrong, but I think we are. I think that we are probably detoxing heavy metals along with oxalates. I think there's definitely something to that. So when my brother got diagnosed with MS a long time ago, one of the first things he did was he saw a naturopath, and we are electricians by trade. And so our skin comes in contact with a lot of copper and a lot of steel because we use galvanized steel rigid conduit, and our switchgear is made out of steel. And then we obviously deal with a bunch of copper conductive wires and cables. And what you don't realize is how much metal your body absorbs from touching it all the time. And so they put him in an electronic magnetic foot bath. And it was kind of crazy because they put these electronic magnets in the water, and you put your feet in there barefoot. And I'll be danged if it doesn't pull a bunch of metal out of your feet, and it turns the water rusty as it's pulling metal toxicity out of your body. It was pretty interesting. And then there's something else that people do. I can't remember, but they spray something on your head and they put a towel over it, and your head starts pushing out, and it draws out a bunch of metal out of your scalp because I guess there's a bunch of aluminum in the shampoos that we use, and it builds up in our scalp, and it'll pull a bunch of aluminum out. I think they did something like that too. So yeah, I believe that we're probably pushing out a bunch of, our body's supposed to have a certain amount of copper and a certain amount of things, and iron, obviously. But yeah, I do think, the thing is, I think that when our body is metabolically screwed up and our signaling's all screwed up, and we're always weakening our body by poisoning it with all this food, I think our immune system has to pick a struggle basically and figure out what it's going to fight today, and it lets things go by the wayside. Where I think if you're healthy, and that's why we talk about priming and healing first in SBG, because then your body's signaling clears up, and then it's like, okay, today we are fixing this metal toxicity, today we're going after these oxalates, today we're going after this, whatever. It just starts cleaning house basically and putting things back in order. And it takes some time, and I don't think that it prioritizes weight loss. I think that that's one of the later things, but we do see it all the time. So not a question, but I wanted to tell you that a good way to cook scallops is to wrap it in bacon beforehand. You had said before that you're not good with scallops. That's correct. Had some yesterday. Great. That's awesome. I will definitely try that the next time I'm having scallops. I thought about doing that, but everybody online said that you needed to sear the scallops, and I was just having a problem with scallops getting stuck to the pan and getting this weird grease, this weird sticky buildup in the pan. I don't know what it was. I don't know if it was omega-3 oils or 6s, but it was a struggle for sure. Let's see. Carnivore has
Go on.
Carnivore has eliminated all my healthy addictions: nicotine, the sugar, caffeine. My new addiction is walking, getting my steps in. That's awesome, Brad. I had the exact same result. It got rid of my sugar, my caffeine, and my nicotine habits. So that's incredible. Congratulations. Love to hear more about it.
Mm.
Here you go, Lindy.
2 of my daughters have made the statement to me, I could never give up XYZ. One said that is more that for when I'm up to my 60s, she's 39, wants to keep trying to lose weight and get healthy her way. Yeah, my daughters are not interested in carnivore, and I know they would benefit greatly, both of them, from it, but they're big girls now, and I just have to, keep doing what I'm doing. And one's already started eating a lot more meat and staying away from the carbs, so she's sort of a little bit more sort of closer than the other one. She just occasionally she'll say, "Oh, Mum, can you make me a steak?" And I fall off my chair because I'm like, "Oh my God." She doesn't like meat normally, but occasionally she does throw that in, especially when she's feeling unwell. She'll ask me for a steak. So the seeds are there.
Oh, wow. All right.
Any tips on what to look for in a good first smoker? Well, I asked Ashley and Todd.
So I've had biscuit smokers, I've had pellet smokers, and then we've had, the traditional offset smokers that you just use coals and raw wood. And by far, the pellet smoker has been the easiest one to use. Now, I will say this, that I had a bad opinion of pellet smokers 9 years ago. 9 years ago, I had one of the first, it was 8 or 9 years ago, I had one of the first Traegers, and the smoke just didn't get very deep into the meat, right? And so it was nothing like a coal and raw wood smoker at all. And I was not a huge fan of them. I thought that they sucked. And I just was put off on them for forever. So when everybody was talking about pellet smokers, I was like, yeah, whatever. I'm not ever getting another one of those. Then we went to Austin, Texas, and Ashley had a Traeger Timberline XL that he brought down in his pickup because he lived pretty close to Austin, and he brought it down, and Ashley and Brett were our carnivore camp cookout cooks, and he smoked a bunch of food, and he completely changed my mind on the Traeger smokers. They had come a long way, and they did a fantastic job. So I really love my Traeger. Now, what I will tell you is Traeger's expensive. I think it's a heck of a product. I think they're really well made, and they do a fantastic job, but they are expensive, and all their accessories are expensive. Now, that said, I've heard a lot of people say that the Camp Chef ones are really good, and I think nowadays most of the pellet smokers are rather good. And Camp Chef makes an excellent smoker. Yep, and I know Charlie says that too. So I don't think there's anything wrong with the Camp Chefs. And I believe Woodwind Pro, and I believe the Camp Chefs are about half the price of Traegers, and even more so, their accessories are like half the price as Traegers, and so that's really handy. So I don't think I don't think that I'd worry about it. Like, and then if your stores are like mine, go get you one, try it for 30 days. If it sucks, take it back.
You can get a smoker like mine that I got off Temu.
Show them.
Yeah.
I gotta find that picture.
Okay. So I think if you don't mind spending the money, I think the quality is definitely in Traeger, and I think they do a fine job. I mean, that Timberline XL is heavy. Once I got it built, I could not believe how heavy that thing was. Like I would have never thought that a pellet smoker would be. Yeah, there's this Temu one. I would have never thought.
I'm still waiting on the chicken to get done, man.
another quarter season, and you should be good. So if you can, if it fits in your budget, I would say, and it doesn't bother you, and you're kind of in it for a big purchase long haul, I would go with the Traegers. But if you are unsure and you want to try it out, then I would go with anything with a pretty decent review and start playing with it, and then decide if you want to go bigger. Like, I wouldn't have bought the Traeger had I not tasted. The reason why I bought the one that I bought was because I wanted to make sure that it was the one that Ashley had, because I wanted my my smoked prime rib to taste exactly like the one that we were eating on in Texas. And that's why I did that. So
And I couldn't afford that one, so I bought the baby Traeger, and that is perfect for hubby and I. We both can use it as crappy cooks. We are doing really well with it, so very proud of ourselves.
that's awesome.
The barbecue, that's still in the corner. We don't use that because my husband cremates everything on that. But he hasn't really messed anything up on the smoker.
That's awesome.
SBG keeps me honest. Probably wouldn't have stuck it out without the community, my new family. Absolutely. I'm in that boat as well. I'm here because of SBG. Otherwise, yeah, probably wouldn't be here today. Not for the community.
Absolutely.
Todd, you are delightful and able to laugh at yourself. How much did you pay Waves to say that?
No kidding. Waves, that was a survival mechanism. When you're as big a dope as I am, you better be able to laugh at yourself or you're in for a hard life. Thank you so much. That's very kind of you.
Oh my God, I loved what your father told you. That was an eye-opening for me. Thank you.
Absolutely. Yeah, Dad Dad wasn't gentle about his opinions, but he was correct. He was really good that way.
Todd, I started to give into the family pizza that was calling me. They remembered your brain trick. Eat all the bacon and eggs you want, and if still hungry, go ahead with the pizza. It worked.
Yeah.
Great job, Laurie. Yay.
Yeah, well, an awesome job at doing that. And seriously, now that you know it works, right? You just got to run to it. I mean, try to make it a reflex. Like when you start feeling weak and you start feeling that thing creeping in that's going to derail you, just run to the bacon and eggs, whether you want it or not, just eat and just quiet that down.
Best thing to do.
Yeah. And you'll get there for sure. I mean, that is literally how I cannot believe that I'm at 26 months carnivore. And it just seems like it was just yesterday. And when I was having to do this one meal at a time, I was like, how do we get there from here? Like, it just felt like it's such a big thing. But then 5.5 weeks later, the noise went away. And then it was like, I don't know, it was like a year later and I'm in Texas with Lindy and Baker and Chafee and Carrie and Adam and Bella and all these people. And I'm like, how the heck did this happen? And now 26 months later, we're going on a cruise in Tampa and having a meetup in Montana. I mean, 26 months ago, I was dying and I didn't see any future at all, ever. And 26 months later, we're planning meetups, talking at Hack Your Health, going on cruises. Like, that's how fast that bacon and egg trick turned into an absolute new life and a future. It's incredible. So I want you to be excited about it. And I want you to understand how truly powerful that can be if you start doubling that up. And I would like that image to be in your head so that you can just really hop on that and really try to rack up the days, because you have no idea how big that can change your life in a short period of time. I had no idea that was going to take us here,
Beautifully said. I came in late. How did Lindy's surgery go? It went very well. I'm doing amazing. Thanks to everybody in the community. I feel fantastic. So thank you so much. Yeah, just resting up now and chatting to my family.
That's awesome.
This is Todd. This is Todd a year ago.
Yeah, it is.
Yep. Last January. Yep.
Yeah, I know, it's crazy. And I haven't lost a ton of weight since then. Last January, I guess I'm down about 115 or 125 pounds, somewhere in there. But the strength differences, the overall health differences, the ability, I mean, it's pretty crazy. It is pretty crazy how much difference that made, It's just keep going. Just keep going.
How long carnivore for brain fog to go away and mental clarity to come in? It's different for everyone, isn't it?
Yeah.
It
is. And the thing is that it's so individual, but it also, there's things that can really help it. And there's too many questions. But the thing that's going to help you the most for brain fog and clarity is, one, priming and eating a lot. You need to really nourish your body, and two, focusing on fat. And probably three would be electrolytes as well. And then four would be getting to the point that you can start doing some intermittent fasting so that the autophagy can start cleaning some stuff up too, that I've noticed, because and running on ketones. Ketones really help when you get there too, because that's brain fuel, which is another reason that the fasting works so good. But yeah, it is individual. For me, it was greatly noticeably different after 3.5 weeks of just BBB&E. But, remember that was after 2.5 years of failed keto, but it was after 14 months of a bad weightlifter, high protein, low fat, moderate carbohydrate, processed food, shitty diet. And then it was after 2.5 years of roller coaster keto with fat bombs and big food keto products. And then 5.5 weeks of strict BBB&E carnivore, eating a lot and doing high fat. And that got me, or higher fat, I should say, than keto. And that started getting rid of the brain fog. So if you're going straight from standard American diet to carnivore, we see people that take some, 6 months or more to start feeling it. So Michael's got something dirty he's about to do to me, because I saw a grin on your little chinny
ideas, but
ideas. Okay. So he got
just ideas. You're lucky tonight.
I saw an evil grin on his chin there.
If you're a strict carnivore, how long does it usually take to reverse insulin resistance?
Well, that's another one that's individual. It's always going to be individual when it comes to insulin resistance. And it depends on if you're able. Man, I almost don't want to finish that sentence. So you have to prime first. All right. You have to prime first. But the thing that really is powerful for lowering your insulin resistance fasted set point is fasting, and longer term fasting. The longer that you can hold that down, the better. And that's why in the summers, when it's easier for me to fast, I do a lot of aggressive fasting, and I do some dry fasting. And it's specifically the dry fasting specifically to target my lymphatic impacted tissue on my legs, and the fasting period is to target my fasted insulin set point that Jason Fung talks about. So, but it's going to be completely different. I don't know how insulin resistant you are, and I don't know what you're eating, but it's going to be, that's a whole nother topic that has a lot of nuances, and we'd have to know what you're eating, and you'd have to know all the little ins and outs on it. But it does definitely improve. I mean, obviously, it improves very quickly too, because that's how we're burning body fat. You don't burn body fat when your insulin's high. So it does improve quickly.
And I'll just say that there is a difference between a fast and a nourished fast. You don't just want to jump into fasting and dry fasting, especially if you haven't had the nourishment and gotten all the, all your hormone levels set, and you've been carnivore for a while. So that's why it's important to, for us anyway, to jump into the community, learn about priming, learn about nourishing and your body resetting your hormones. And that sets you up to be able to do a nourished fast. If you're white knuckling, you're doing it wrong. You shouldn't be white knuckling a fast.
Sure.
Yeah, there's no quick fix. There is a process, and the priming is a big step, and it's a scary step for a lot of people. But if you want to get there, you need to take a step back to go forward sometimes.
100%. 100%. All right. We've only got 15 minutes left, so we are going to do a serious rapid fire here. I'm just grateful I discovered carnivore. I was ready to try anything by then. Absolutely. Congratulations. And keep us posted. We'd love to keep hearing from you and help keep you carnivore. Question for Lindy. Lindy, are you going to the Melbourne Carnivore meetup in April?
I will be there. Yes, I'll be there for sure with Bella.
And
I will be speaking with Bella on stage.
she's
So,
not just going to be there, but she's going to be a presenter.
I know. I'm so nervous. So I need someone to, I need some support. Yeah, this is really out of, Lindy doesn't get up on stage and talk in front of people. I mean, I'm talking to Michael and Todd and a bunch of words on the screen, and I love you all, but to see everybody's faces in real time, I am really nervous. So.
Listen, the old Lindy didn't stand up on stages. The new Lindy kicks goals, remember?
The old Lindy wouldn't have said yes to this. So look, I'm kicking goals. I'm still very nervous, but I am doing it, and I will do it. And I confirmed with Bella this morning. Yes, I will get up on stage with you. My plan kind of backfired because they did approach me and said, "Oh, would you come and speak?" And I'm like, "Oh no, I don't speak without my team." And Bella's already just been to Melbourne, so I didn't think she was going to turn around and say yes so quickly. So she threw me under the bus. And
she called your bluff there. She called your bluff.
Yeah, I'm like, she's not going to come back. No, she's only here in November, but no, she's coming, and she says, "I'll come up and speak with you." I'm like, damn it. So I think I sent a code. Yeah, thank you, Michael, for putting that in there. I did get a code last night on SMS, but this is the first time I promoted it. So if you're interested in coming to the Melbourne meetup, I did get a discount code, my very first discount code. So
that's awesome.
Yeah. So I'd love to, if you do come, please come and introduce yourself. And I'd love to meet everybody.
That's awesome.
Yeah, be amazing. How did any of you need to have one-on-one coaching to get as far as you've come on this diet? I had 8 months of one-on-one coaching, and that is why I'm still here today.
At SBG, right?
SBG, yeah.
Yep. And
I joined SBG December 2020. What was it like? I forgot. Like my years, everything's a blur. But anyway, it was in December I started, and I was in the community. I had camera off, didn't talk, nothing. And then I reached out to the coaches in January 3rd, 2021. So I think that's right. And that was first day of my new life.
And I had 7 months of one-on-one coaching in SBG, and then they adopted me. So now I'm just on the furniture there now.
I had a few months of coaching with them as well.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Incredible.
I've been carnivore going on 2 years, and I don't wear glasses anymore. Yay.
That's awesome.
It's awesome.
Congratulations.
My last eye exam, I had improvement with 6 months carnivore. Fantastic.
That's awesome. Congratulations. Yeah. I mean, carnivore really is amazing what it can do.
I just went for eye appointment and no improvement, but no worse either. Yeah.
No worse is good. You got to have patience. It takes time.
When I went in, the optometrist told me that my eye damage now, is from old age. I'm going to prove him wrong. I'm not old at 53. Thank you very much.
100%.
Yeah, I'm actually due to go back in now and have another scan and get these fixed, because these are they used to be blurry, and then they were magnifying a little bit, but they're starting to get a bit funny. So I think they have improved again.
For sure. Yeah. Costco had tomahawk ribeyes for $9.99 a pound. I bought every fatty one I could find in the store. I got to tell you, that's what happened to us in Austin, Texas, when we were there, and Ashley from Carnivore Brothers found it for $9.99 a pound. I was trying to figure out if I could just put it on my carry-on and just throw all my clothes away and fill it up with tomahawks. I was like, this is ridiculous. But I was worried about those security dogs. I would have been ratted out immediately.
My wife just puts the scallops in a pan in the oven with a lot of butter, 350 for 15 minutes or so. Comes out delicious. Yeah. Scallops and bacon are just to die for.
That's awesome. I'm going to have to try that.
How much better is an actually smoker compared to a regular grill that you put soaked apple wood in?
I think a lot, actually. I mean, I've done the wood chunks in like the charcoal grills. They do pretty good, but they're not built to hold the smoke in quite as good and to have the ventilation. So the smokers do work better. And the thing about it is even so, when you do that, if you're doing really long cooks, you got to babysit that thing. When you have a pellet smoker, you fill it up, you hook the Wi-Fi to your phone, and then you go in the house and you can watch the temperature. You can watch the temperature of the internal combustion, the internal chamber of the smoker, plus the internal temperature of your meat. You can see the pellet level. You can see, everything, and you don't have to do nothing, and you just let it run. And then you go out there, like, you have targets where, like, hey, I'm going to wrap the brisket at, I think I do mine at 158 degrees. I go out and wrap the brisket, and then I put it in there till it's 196 degrees internal. And before everybody says it's supposed to be 102 to 103, that's at sea level, not Montana. Because I have 2 briskets buried in the back acre back here because I tried to get them to 202 and 203. But at my elevation, that's too high because the boiling, well, we'll go over it another time, but the boiling point of water is lower here than it is at sea level. So it's a problem, but I got that all worked out so that I could stop having crimes against humanity by charcoal on my briskets.
I can't afford a new pellet grill, so I bought a pellet tube to use on my gas grill. Okay.
That's awesome. That works too. So that's awesome. Great work, John.
I really appreciate you guys doing these slides. Unfortunately, I cannot afford monthly cost of SPG, but on the future for sure. They do have a free forum, so you can still be part of a great community. All you need to do is sign up on, I think the link is in our description. And there's a general SPG general forum. Heaps of people there. Post your questions. You can speak to the team and the members. There's always somebody there to help. You can also access recipes, photos, before and after pics. So it's really keeps you motivated.
For sure.
Still stuff to do. What changes in 2025 are you making to lose the final pounds to reach your goal?
So first thing I was going to do is getting the doors on that there garage so that it stops snowing in my gym. That's a problem. I'm getting that thing heated, because I would be lying if I said my working out hadn't slowed down since the temperatures got to negatives, in the negatives. It's really hard to grab onto the steel weights and the steel bar when it's negative 27 degrees outside and your muscles are all stiff up, It's not much fun to do that. In fact, it flat sucks. So we're going to get some doors on that there garage, and we're going to get some heat in there, insulation and heat in there. That's number one. And then number two, I am going to start incorporating. I think I've been doing this wrong. I'm going to keep sprinting every other day, and then every other day that I'm not sprinting. Right now I'm doing bike sprints. I am planning on getting one of the assault runner deals that Baker uses to start doing running sprinting. So I'm going to be doing that this summer to continue with the sprinting protocol. And I'm going to do that every other day. And then every other day that I'm not doing sprinting, I'm going to try to walk at least 7,000 to 10,000 steps a day. And then I'm going to continue to lift 3 times a week. So that's in there. And then if I can somehow swing it, I'm going to try to get a hyperbaric oxygen chamber, because I really want to start doing that and a sauna. I want to start doing sauna therapy, possibly cold plunge therapy, but definitely hyperbaric oxygen therapy. And the reason why is because, and I'm going to be going back to my fasting schedule, which should take close to 100 pounds off in the next year by itself. And I only need to go about 100 to 150 more pounds, depending. I don't know where I'm going to be and how much muscle I'm going to put on by then. But I want to start doing the hyperbaric oxygen therapy because I want to get skin surgery sometime about a year from now, somewhere in there. And I want to be able to heal up really quickly so that I can go for, I need a lot of skin surgeries. I got to get a belly skin surgery. I got to get arm skin surgery and upper chest skin surgery. And I got to get a left
Mouth
leg.
surgery.
Yes. And so I want to, instead of dragging this out over many years, not that I'm impatient, and this really has nothing to do with being impatient. I just want the uncomfortable part where I'm setting aside a lot of time for healing and stuff. I just want to get it done. I don't want it to keep interrupting years and years as I go. I just want to get it behind me, that portion of it. Because one thing that is hard about having the skin, and this is why, what you should know about Lindy's skin too, which I'm not gonna put words in your mouth, but I'm assuming, so my legs have, my calves are really big. Now I lost 9 inches off of them, but now they're like a camel's hump reservoir that holds fluid all the time. So Lindy's stomach was, I'm guessing, kind of like that too, where it might only been 19 pounds of skin that they took off, but it was 19 pounds of reservoir that would also hold 20, 30 pounds of fluid. So it wasn't just the 19 pounds that she's feeling. She's also feeling the difference from the fluid that was holding, right?
Oh, heaps of fluid. Yeah. You could feel it. It was awful. So definitely.
Yeah. And that's why I'm that's why I'm motivated to get the skin off. It's not for looking pretty. It's not for being impatient. It's because Michael can attest to this. When your legs all of a sudden overnight seem to put on 30 to 50 pounds of fluid, and you feel like you're dragging whiskey barrels around with you when you're walking.
Concrete shoes.
Yeah. It'll shoot your horse for sure. Like you'll feel like
sets you back. It gets in your head and it messes up your back and everything else. Yeah, it's no fun.
It pulls on your hips, it does all kinds of stuff, makes your knees hurt, pulls on your hips, screws up your back, and it makes it hard to want to do much when those days happen. But you can, and so that's fine because I'm staying ahead of it. But what I'm really looking forward to is when you get that skin cut off the reserve, it's like your skin naturally becomes compression clothes and it stops having this void that can just fill up with all this fluid, which is a serious help to healing up. Plus, I don't hold me to this because I don't know this to be 100% true because I haven't researched it enough yet, but I believe that if Leslie and Keith was talking about some new procedures that they're coming up with where they can put that dye in your lymphatic system to find out what lymph nodes are leaking. And so if they can do that when they take the skin, if they take the leaky lymph nodes away, when they take the skin out, like they're going to cut out lymph nodes no matter what, because some of the skin, Lindy had some lymph nodes for sure that she was taken out, but they're called lymph node sparing, but they don't spare them all because there's 19 pounds of skin there. So there's lymph nodes in there. I think if they could find the leaky areas and when they're taking out the skin, if they can target the areas that have leaking lymph nodes, right? It's basically like plugging a leak in a pipe. You're going to stop having areas that are leaking into your body out of your lymphatic system, and you're going to stop having as much buildup. That's my understanding of it. I'm not an expert in this at all, but that's what I believe that means, and that's what I believe that it can do. So that's what I'm going to be targeting as I'm doing this. But I want to get the hyperbaric oxygen chamber because it takes a while. It takes like 6 months to start building it up. But if you do that, your body starts healing at a really efficient rate, even more efficient rate, and it releases stem cells from your, I believe it's your bone marrow. I believe they come from. It releases a higher volume of stem cells from your bone marrow, and it boosts growth hormones something like 600 to 800% during that time. And it's not just about the more oxygen; it's about the oxygen does that, but then it's about when you get out of the oxygen chamber, you immediately off gas really quickly and the oxygen leaves your body. And when that happens, it causes a huge stress response, just like a cold plunge or a sauna therapy. And it causes all the stem cell generation, or releases stem cells and causes growth hormone boosts. So I want to do that so that I can start getting the skin off and come up with a plan to really get on a good pattern of healing up. Well, thank you so much, Donna. LaDonna?
Thank you.
I took care of the first part. So you guys,
Do you have a link for SBG? Should I wait to start the first month or versus starting now?
start
I-
now.
Yeah, and exactly. Anybody that asks that question about carnivore, about the about the communities, I think you should do it right now, because I think that there's no better time to stop eating poison and start helping yourself than right this second. We don't have to wait till the next meal or the next day or the beginning of a week. There's never a perfect time other than now.
I agree.
And if you want to start the challenge on the first of the month, you can always just join the general forum for first, and then on the first of the month, sign up for the challenge and then do the challenge with the next group. But you can still watch all the reruns or the playbacks from the 1st of February and have access to all the calendars, and you can just do the calendar on your own time. So that's the beauty of this, the community, that you can start any day.
Absolutely.
You've got everything that you need.
100%. And, when you guys get in there, say hi to us. We're in the open chat, we're in the calls, but definitely say hi to us. We'd like to know that it's you in the chat. We'd love to start putting faces to names in the chat. We'd love to see you guys.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Yes, I'm very pleased to be together again with everybody. I love it here.
Good to see you.
Should I get no sugar electrolytes or should I get LMNT? I personally like the raw because I just find that sweet taste starts those cravings again, and I don't need that.
For sure. Back to, I don't know if you heard it, but if not, go back and watch the replay, but back to that neurological circuit in your brain. I don't like lighting up. I want that sweet palate trigger to completely die off. I don't think I can't moderate it, so I want it dead. So I don't do any of definitely just do non-sweet flavors as much as possible. Like always, in my opinion.
You read? Mm-hmm.
I like to keep meat cooked up, like leftovers saved for the next day when I get hungry in the late afternoon, so I don't eat anything else. I usually eat OMAD. Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, what's that stuff? If you fail to plan, you plan to fail, I think it is. And that's what I find. The only time that I'm actually pretty vulnerable to falling off the wagon is if I don't have food. Like there's something about it still to this day. If I get hungry and I don't have food, even though I can fast for 7 days, right? If I catch myself getting hungry and I don't have food, some
Triggers.
yeah, something triggers, like anxiety triggers in my brain. And then all of a sudden I'm like, well, I guess we're just going to have to get pizza. Like that's when I call, I order Instacart and I'm like, no, bring me meat right now. And I always throw in those chomps and those Green Valley Farm meat sticks that are at Costco in there, so that I can be stuffing those in my mouth while I'm cutting up a rib.
Cooking.
How do I get over meat and egg aversion? Oh, double whammy.
So there's many, man, this is a long question, but there's many ways to do it, and there's many things to try. And I also need to know many more things of how you got here. But if you've eaten a bunch, then you can just fast. And let me tell you what, after 24, 48, 72 hours of not eating,
everything looks good.
Yeah, the meat and eggs are going to taste fine. Also, you can add dairy if you can handle, dairy. If it's like, yes, even if you retain some fluid and gain a little bit of weight, that doesn't matter. It's more important that you get your appetite back. So dairy is a hyperpalatable food that'll open up your appetite and it'll make you start eating more things. And then also you can add back some single ingredient seasonings to make things a little bit more palatable. You can change up how you're cooking them. You can add more fat. You just have to go through and find out what's hyperpalatable for you. And then if all else fails, then you have to eat your food like you take your medicine, and you just eat as much as you can stomach, and then take a break, and then come back an hour later and do it again till you get through it. Did I miss anything, guys?
No, you did very well.
Yeah.
Good job.
Sorry, we are rapid firing.
Lindy, when you first get in front of the audience, split them into 6 areas to pick out one person in each area as you speak direct to those 6 people. As you go, you may speak to even more with these. Yeah, I'm hoping to. I think I'll be going to Florida as well. So I need to practice in a small Melbourne community before I hit the big one. So yeah, exciting. Thank you.
That's awesome.
Hopefully we'll see you in Florida and I can pick you as one of my 6.
There you go, for sure. I got to sit next to John and talk to him in Arizona, and he's a pleasure.
Yeah, there's always got a big smile on his face.
For sure. Super good dude. One of my favorites. Oh.
I cannot afford to not be in SBG. The support and benefits are priceless. Yeah, couldn't agree more.
Couldn't agree more. And that is a perfect comment to stop on. So, man, this 3 hours went by in a hurry.
Insane.
Good. Huh?
So let's see. Announcements or things to follow up with. I think come and see us in SBG. We have open chat 5 days a week. We have I do a call on Saturdays called Iron Sharpens Iron, which is a men's focuses on carnivore and men's mental health. And then we have all sorts of awesome stuff and awesome people in SBG. John, right here, Cranky Carnivore Cutler, is in there. He's awesome to talk to. And everybody's so helpful, you know. Ellie from Nourishment Redacted is in there too, if you guys want to come see Ellie in there. And we also have a bunch of the doctors come in. So Baker comes in once a month. Chafee usually comes in once a month, but he had some surgeries blocked out for this month. But is he coming in next month?
I think he's coming back next month. Yeah, Dr. Baker's normally twice a month, and now I think he tries to come in.
Yeah.
Dr. Kiltz, Dr. Hampton. Not sure who else we've got on. Rebecca Heichman, she comes in twice a month.
Yeah, Rebecca Heichman. We just had Dr. Vasquez as well. And did we miss anybody? I don't know. Awesome speakers that come in. Missy's in there. She's awesome. She's one of the hosts of the open chat during the daytime. Lindy's one of the hosts of the open chat. I am one of the hosts of the open chat, so you can listen to us pontificate in a smaller group. But come and check us out, and then we'd love to help you, and we'd love to see you guys put faces to names from the comment section here. Also, we will be speaking. Well, Lindy's going to be speaking in Australia here in April, so go check her out if you're in Australia and Melbourne. What's that name of that event in Melbourne?
The Carnivore Collective. Yeah. Yep.
That's awesome. And
I'll
then
promote more. I've only just been sent all the information, so I'll pop some stuff up on my channel so you can check it out.
That's awesome. And then we will be doing a meetup in Bozeman, Montana over the 4th of July weekend. There will be some information coming on that, and tickets will be going on sale here shortly. So stay tuned for that. It'll be, well, we're going to have a pretty star-studded lineup at that one. And then Hack Your Health, Tampa, Florida, in November, I think it's 13th through the 16th, if I'm not mistaken.
I think
maybe.
so.
Yeah. And so we're going to be having 2 panels. Bella's going to have 2 panels at Hack Your Health, and we will be speaking there. And then that goes immediately from the Hack Your Health conference to a 5-day Caribbean, Caribbean cruise line? It's a cruise anyways. So we're getting on a 5-day cruise with Lisa Widerman and the Steak and Butter Gang.
I don't care where it's going. I just want to come along.
So we'll be on that for 5 days, which is a really good time. So definitely put that on your list. And because if you're going to Hack Your Health, that's a fantastic deal, because it's only like $500 a person or something for a 5-day cruise with meals included. So that
good deal.
It's ridiculous. Like lodging, food, and the cruise, and you end up on a new beach like every day for that 5 days. It's like crazy. So if you're already going to Hack Your Health, you might think about penciling that in. And yeah, I think that's Lindy's GoFundMe. We appreciate if you got, first of all, we're not trying to, we love everybody and for any help that you've given us, prayers, just passing it out. And that's all we'd love to see is just put the word out. I just want to see it get to its goal so that Lindy doesn't have any hardship with that, the rest of that invoice. So love to see that. So appreciate you helping us pass out the word. And we love y'all. We'll see you next time.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
All right, guys, have a good week.